Sarah, ignoring the fatigue of his comrades, is confidently moving forward. For her, difficulties are just part of the way to the dream of becoming a holy knight. The exhausted guy thinks about whether this grueling preparation of the ultimate goal is worth it. Sarah's sister believes in effort, but the guy hesitates, looking at the food and doubting the sense of all this. Sarah arises in thoughts, a good, caring like a sister who has always been near childhood. She is the only close soul, and together they continue training for a common goal, to become holy knights. After the meal, the guy sharply changes the topic of conversation. He asks if Sarah knows how ordinary people live from the fourth unit. Responds, their life is a daily struggle for survival that shocks Sarah with its seriousness. He explains, at 18 years, everyone receives a class from the gods, a warrior, a magician, or a farmer. But he believes that this is not a sentence. A person has the right to choose his own destiny. The guy thinks how warriors and magicians are born strong, and farmers or traders are already doomed. It seems impossible to overcome the boundaries of the class. Suddenly, the explosion disrupts his thoughts. Sarah tries to cheer him up, hoping that he will receive a strong class, though he is not sure. He tries to believe her, but does not have time to think. Sarah again pulls him to work out, as always decisive. Meanwhile, the city lives with the usual Haman markets are humming, people are fussing in business. But peace breaks the annoyed cry from the crowd. Something clearly went wrong. The street goes the street, noting the festive atmosphere. Sarah causes that he probably did not sleep with excitement. People recognize in him the Duke's son and want good luck, he thanks, and Sarah smiles. The hall is stressed. The years and Sarah face the crowd. On the faces of the attendees, focus and anxiety. Some rejoice in receiving combat classes, others are disappointed with ordinary ones. And here they announce the arrival of the Duke of Rida Wellesley. All are immediately alert. The Duke is included in power. Sarah quietly shows him the summer, reminding that he is his father, the Holy Knight, and the ruler of this region. Everyone around looks with respect. The young man asks the summer about the boy near the Duke. He, surprised, confesses his brother, the son of a woman from the fourth unit. Due to its origin, the Duke, as an aristocrat, does not officially recognize the son, but he adds, everything can change if he gets a powerful class. The name of Kate Wellesley is called. He rises to the altar confidently while the Duke is silently watching. Everyone kept breathing. The kite touches the crystal, and at the same moment, a radiant symbol flashes on his chest. The hall instantly recognizes the sign, the class of the Holy Knight. People are amazed and passionate about this incredible result. The years fade, stunningly looking at the emblem that burns on his brother's chest. The narrator explains that the class of the Holy Knight appears in only one of 10,000. Even heredity rarely gives such a chance, and yet Kate Wellesley is chosen. For the first time, the Duke publicly calls him his son and greets him. The kite shocks such a sudden love, and anger grows in the soul. He understands that his father used it to raise his image, but he also decides to take advantage of the new status. At this point, Sarah is called. She is nervous but tries to keep calm, approaching the crystal to find out her destiny. Touching the crystal, she sees how the same sign flashes on her chest. She also received the class of the Holy Knight. In the crowd, the explosion of capture. Sarah, happy, returns to Summer and says that his turn is now. He corresponds decisive, but in the eyes the tension is red. Sarah gives him a confident smile. When called the name of Summer, it firmly replies, yes. As he comes to the crystal, he catches the look of Sarah. She sincerely wishes him good luck. All views are now chained to him. The crucial moment has come. The Duke looks cold and evaluating in the Summer. He says not to embarrass him. The Summer corresponds to a serious, gathered look, feeling the responsibility for him. Meanwhile, the hall is whisper, 2 holy knights in one day, almost incredible. This is an extremely rare phenomenon, but the fate of Summer is still unknown. Everyone is waiting for his choice. He is convinced of his appointment. He is confidently approaching the crystal, believing that he will also become a holy knight like a kite and Sarah. In his heart, the determination to lose no one. It reaches a crystal with a steadfast look, full of hope to gain strength with your own hands. The Duke is watching closely. It seems to calculate every movement of the sun, and in this moment, years will exclaim their deepest desire. He wants to become stronger. His eyes are burning ambition, and the hall, holding his breath, watches the decisive moment. The hall is in tense silence. All views are chained in the Summer. Sarah, Kite, and the Duke himself are waiting for the result with anxious. The crystal flashes a bright glow, and the Supreme Priest looks in surprise. The whole Summer, the heart is mowing, not knowing what happened. But the unexpected happens. The crystal does not respond. No sign, no light. The hall reigned. The Duke looks silently, affected by the failure of the sun. In the despair, he asks the priest what is happening. Sarah and others shocked, they cannot believe it. Even the Duke looks tense. The priest rises to declare the result. There is no class in the summer. When all in 18 get fate, even the gods were thrown away in the summer. He is a classless one. In the Wellesley estate, he returns depressed and disgraced after failure. The maid calls him, his father wants to see. In the air heaviness, the years waiting for the worst. The Duke looks cold and states, the connection between them as between father and son is over. Little is shocked, he was officially renounced. The Duke adds dry that there is no longer part of the Wellesley family and is not considered his son. From now on, the Kite is an officially eldest son. There is 1 hour to leave the estate. With an empty look and broken heart, he looks at the closed door. He was clearly aware he is no longer needed here. He is silently betraying and preparing to leave everything he knew, while the years are experiencing exile. Sarah celebrates in the city. In the bar, everyone raises glasses for her new status of the Holy Knight. The father pays for everyone the booze, proudly calling her heroine. Sarah is embarrassed, but sincerely rejoices in this love and recognition. While the city is celebrating, some residents are discussing the Duke 2 Holy Knights in one day impress everyone. At the same time, people regret that the legitimate son of the Duke is left without class, without appointment and recognition. Instead, the younger brother received the most rare class, which further inflates the controversy among the locals. The last year looks at the Wellesley estate under the light of the moon. Despite the pain, he barely smiles and goes. Rumors are spreading in the city. Was he really the son of the Duke? Wandering the night city, he thinks about finding a job without a class. He tried to keep, though he did not know what was waiting next. In the bar, someone remembers that he saw the city left the city. Sarah is immediately alert. Without saying a word, she leaves the celebration, for all her act seems strange. Sarah rushes the streets looking for him, but beyond the city of years, there is already a lonely way. On the road, he finds a job, wears luggage. One of the men cabs over him, asking how his name is. When he calls his name, all shocked, the son of the Duke does the black work. Without class and without any ability, he understands, to survive, he needs money. And the only opportunity is to wear a load, but he does not give up and continues the path, though it degrades. During the rest, others disdainfully offer him simple food. They are mocking, they say, the former aristocrat will not withstand this. Exhausted, lap on the lap, silently withstanding the burden and humiliation, but does not seem. Sitting silently, biting the apple, watching from afar for those who despise it. He remembers how he should keep the sword, not pull luggage. He is ashamed. He does not know how deep it will fall. But while the years are in reflection, one of the soldiers warns of danger in the forest ahead. Everyone is called for caution, but suddenly something unexpected interrupts the warning. The group is attacked by bandits. One of the guards sounds about the attack. Everyone in panic is preparing for battle. The road plunges into chaos. Civil in panic, guardians compete with robbers. The summer stands, not knowing what to do, but inside something begins to awaken. The bandit leader is confidently approaching as soon as one of the guards. Nearby on the ground lies the sword of a fallen warrior. The summer looks around enemies everywhere, and there is almost no time. Surwide those are waiting for rescue. The guards are dead. The bandits are already celebrating victory. One asks what to do with civilians. The leader orders to kill everyone without hesitation. Despair covers people. The summer lifts the sword from the ground and rushes to the bandits. He shouts that he trained with his sword for years. Even without skills, it is not defenseless. Decide on the attack. He beats bravely, but the bandit leader quickly knocks him down with a hard blow. The summer falls, but it does not seem. He knows that he has no ability, but understands if he does not protect others, then no one will do it anymore. And despite the injury, he gets up again. The bandit calls it interference, but the years do not rect. Squeezing the sword, he thinks, if not me, then who? Meanwhile, a little girl asks her father on the road, what is a class? He explains it is a force given by gods at 18 years, which determines the further path of man. The girl listens in silence, and years exhausted. He squeezes the sword and asks through his breath whether the man is a real blade. The bandit leader laughs contemptuously, watching from afar. The summer comes into a direct battle with the enemy. The bandit activates the warrior's skill, and his blow carries incredible power. The summer sword begins to crack. It is covered by horror. The weapon breaks simply during the battle. A powerful blow throws it into the air. He is stunned and barely kept in mind. Having fallen from the swing, Years lies on the ground. Civilians scream his name, watching. The bandit leader adds another blow to his foot. He flies into the air and falls with pain. The bandit acknowledges that he underestimated the guy. Even without a class, it is stronger than it seems. The summer lies on the ground, the enemy is approaching. He thinks, is this the end of my path? Everything happens in the eyes of witnesses. The defeat seems inevitable. The bandit is preparing to strike a deadly blow. This game is already completed for him. Sarah watches in despair, but suddenly the summer is unexpectedly counterattack, striking the enemy. The bandit mocks, even with his eyes closed, he would have avoided such a blow. But suddenly gets accurately struck directly into the body. He is shocked by an unexpected attack. With a smile, he throws a summer. Nothing in your skills is special. He is wounded but not broken. The cry of pain and fierce breaks out of the heart. In despair, he asks himself why he is so weak. The gaze fades in the void. But suddenly in his mind is a strange voice, interrupting the dark thoughts. The voice is female. She announces, a year has just received the skill of strengthening the physical body. This is another message, increasing the blade. He is experiencing changes in the shock. The bandit attacks, confident in victory. But the year's blocking the blow. The enemy is stunned. A guy who was just defenseless is now able to parry his sword. Taking advantage of the moment, he causes a quick and accurate blow to the enemy's neck. The bandit falls, others shocked. The situation has suddenly changed. One of the thugs with a cry rushes to him, but there is already full of combat readiness. He evades and squeezes the sword firmly. Collected and accurate, the years won another enemy with a decisive blow. Bedewed and all in sweat, he looks at the bodies around. Despite fatigue, it remains alert. When the battle ends, it turns out and sees a girl who rescued, running to him. She rushes into his arms, with tears in his eyes, rejoicing that he is alive. The surviving thanks to the summer with tears in their eyes. If it were not for his intervention, everyone would have died. The year is surprised to confess that his class is not combat. It is even more surprised by people. He begins to think, how did he manage to win? Recalls the moment of the battle, something seemed to be awake, and the voice of the goddess was heard in his head about a new skill, but he still does not understand what happened. Despite the confusion, he feels relief. He saved people. One of the rescued comes to him. With deep gratitude, offers assistance, financial support, or even access to important people. The years look silently, struck by such generosity. He accepts the proposal. He says he wants to find out something important and asks for help. The next day, the scene changes. He goes to seek answers, taking advantage of the promised support. In the morning, Father Augustine is busy writing when the assistant reports. What did the guy come to view the class? Without lifting his eyes, Augustine orders to refuse. But the assistant insists. The guest has a letter from a longtime friend of the priest. Interested, Augustine reads a letter. After completing, it changes sharply in the face. Something in this treatment deeply struck it. He learns that the merchant he rescued was an old friend of the archbishop himself. It is difficult for him to believe that a simple good act tied him to such an influential person. Augustine, the archbishop of the kingdom, is amazed at the age of such an attack. And the merchant, in turn, is amazed that his friend is such an important person. He watches silently in silence, losing respect. Augustine turns to the summer. You have been defined as a classless one. He confirms that he asks for ray verification. Although it is usually forbidden, the archbishop agrees. Everything is because of the authority of an ancient friend, and without delay begins the rite. He warns the summer not to expect a miracle. There was no mistake in the crystal. The summer touches the sphere, and the result appears. Its class is still empty. Everyone thinks nothing has changed, until one of the assistants noticed something strange. Crystal shows two rare skills, strengthening of physics and strengthening of the blade. Archbishop is shocked, not a sword but has these techniques. He does not understand how possible such skills do not appear just like that. Explains these techniques are only accessible to soldiers, no farmers nor merchants. But years, even without a class, they have them. It's unprecedented. Archbishop is amazed. A young man without a class has the skills of Master Klenka. When asked that it is for power, he honestly confesses he does not know. Suddenly he remembers something, stops for a moment, and he orders the summer to follow him. Stunned, followed by the archbishop in a mysterious place, the archival chambers. In the archival halls, the archbishop shows the summer of ancient records. Among the books, he finds something interesting. The text mentions a person from the past who also has no class. But according to records, she has hidden ability. This discovery gives Summer hope. The archbishop reveals that he had a unique gift to copy the enemy's skills. If in the summer the same force, everything becomes clear. The summer is fading, thinking about the opportunity. It seems that he will share something important. and the Archbishop confirms the assumption. He received his battle skills only after hitting a bandit. This is even more confirmed. Its strength is activated at the time of the collision. Taking this truth, he confidently says, "Yes, this is my ability." But the Archbishop notes, although everything looks like the truth, there is no complete clarity, and he advises him to open everything else. The summer is satisfied. Although there are few answers, the knowledge that someone once survived the same thing gives him peace. It steps the city for a clear purpose. He wants to know the power awakened in it, and although the path is unknown, the age goes with a smile. He will find his own way. Looking at the fortress, he firmly states he will become a knight. This is his first goal on a new path to understanding his own power. Arriving at the registration point, he submits documents and receives confirmation. It is officially included in the list of participants in the nightly test. The beginning of a new path is already close. He is informed that the exam will take place after tomorrow and are asked to bring a registration letter. With a smile, he thanks. Walking in the city, she tastes local food, enjoying every moment. It is striking the energy of the city. It lives in every movement. He comments on himself that life is boiling here, and it confirms the grandeur of the imperial cow. Looking back, he notices many strong people around. He feels pressure, but does not lose determination. Deciding to train for the exam, he suddenly notices something strange. The street runs an exhausted girl. She is looking for someone. Crying eyes with a smile of relief, she exclaims his name years, finally found, in her voice mixed happiness and despair. The girl recognizes the girl is Sarah. His face changes from surprise to anxiety. He tries to retreat, but she goes forward with a serious and decisive look. Obviously, something important is coming. Sarah runs rapidly to him and hugs so much that he almost loses balance. Red and confused, he does not understand what is happening. Sarah falls on his knees, tears roll on the cheeks. She confesses she was desperate, she was afraid that she had lost it forever. Years are silent, struck. In spite of tears, she clearly makes it clear, all this time she worked only for him. Sarah confesses that she thought he has committed his life. The years bows his head and sincerely apologizes. The voltage discharges. When lying on the ground with Sarah on top, he smiles. Maybe we will stand up first. People stopped around, looking surprised, and Sarah blushes to their ears. The summer apologizes to Sarah, leaning his head low. Explains that he left home without words to work with a loader and make some money. But during work, he was attacked by bandits. Sarah listens to him, folding his hands. It is evident that the angry, but at the same time I am glad that everything is fine with him. He confesses that he received his ability after the battle. It is shocked and fascinated at the same time. This news changes everything. Sarah asks if he will participate in the nightly exam. He is confident with confidence, yes. Sarah comes closer, focusing in his eyes. He is pronounced hey, making it clear. He wants to say something important. In front of a bunch of stones, she suddenly surprises Summer. Offering to demonstrate their skills, he is embarrassed, does not understand why it is. Sarah challenges him to cut a huge stone. She still doubts his strength. The Summer is prepared, confidently takes the sword and strikes. Activates strengthening of physics, directing force to the sword. Sarah is amazed, recognizes the technique, and understands that he really mastered it. The years activate the strengthening of the blade and attacks full force. Sarah watches with delight when he beats the rock. Part of the stone splits under his blow. Stroke, Sarah notes, with such force he will easily take the exam, but he reminds, he has not yet seen the true technique of the Holy Knight. She decides to show her power personally, then she shocks everyone around. The earth begins to tremble, a powerful energy is formed around. One of the witnesses with horror follows her, does not believe she saw. And stunned confirms, it is the true skill of the Holy Knight. Sarah silently reveals the power of his class. The Summer reaffirms, received skills only after hitting a bandit. Sarah, interested, asks him to reach out. The Summer does not understand why, but obey. When he touches her palm, suddenly he receives two new skills, Heavenly Strengthening and Heavenly Blade. Leaders in shock, does not understand what happened. Confirms that he has received new forces, but asks whether Sarah is confident in his decision. She smiles and says that her strength did not diminish from what she shared. I thank you sincerely. Sarah believes that these skills will come in handy. He winks goodbye and promises to wait in the order of the night. She believes in him. In the capital, a crowd of candidates came to the night. This number of participants attracts attention, although it is already a familiar picture for the organizers. The officer Roger is looking at the crowd and skeptical. None of them looks promising. Roger doubts whether these candidates have true potential to become knights. He does not like such judgments. He asks the commander to be more restrained. The voice is explained. The title of knight is one of the highest in the kingdom. Only a few with combat classes reach this title. The exam is extremely complicated. In the meantime, someone goes confidently candidates are going to test. The sudden appearance of a newcomer attracts her eyes. Someone looks with interest, others with suspicion. The atmosphere is tense. Everyone stands in the ranks, waiting for the beginning of the evaluation. The officer Roger is presented by the examiner and warns immediately, only real warriors will pass. He indifferent why they came, for glory, money, or power. Only one thing is important: skills. Roger announces who will pass the test will receive a 9th rank equal to the title of Baron. But this is just the beginning. Through efforts and victories, you can rise to the highest aristocratic ranks. It all depends on strength. He lifts his fist. Candidates explode in the exclamations of joy. But in the crowd, one man watches with a sinister smile. Roger announces the official start of the exam. The name of Edward sounds during the call. He has a knight class. Then called the summer Wellesley. All are surprised. In the form there is no record of the class. Roger assumes an error and asks why the data is not specified. The summer is suitable and confirms everything is filled correctly. He explains that he received his prophecy, but he was not appointed to him, all around stunned. The reaction is shock. The classmate candidate for the exams of the knights is unprecedented. The summer calmly confirms everything, causing anxiety among the examiners. One of them asks how he was going to be tested without combat skills. To become a knight, you need to have attackers like magicians or swords, and to be stronger than them. Seeing that there is no class in the summer, they question his decision. It is believed that he will just get injured. The summer replies with a smile. He knows how to fight, so everything will be fine. His frivolous confidence is amazing everyone, both examiners and candidates. One of the judges is interested in trying even without a class. Roger agrees with reluctance, calls Summer. He goes forward with a confident step, and the examiner smiles with curiosity. The young aristocrat Logan Bentley mocks the exam. They say even common people can participate. His arrogant comment causes indignation. One officer explains, Logan is a noble kind. The judge is silently watching. Logan throws a contemptuous look at the Summer. Weak without class will never become a knight. Logan degrades the Summer in front of all, commanding knowing his place. He is silent, but the expression of the face is visible. The words were painful. Logan tries to provoke him further, mocking and calling Mr. Guardian. The Summer is calm and completely ignores the attack. He only specifies the examiner whether he can continue participation. He gives permission, and the Summer replies the Logan, I have no place in my head for unnecessary. The angry Logan loses control, rushes with the sword, calling the Summer with a classless worm, but he remains calm and accepts the challenge without fear. In a decisive moment, Roger intervenes, confidently blocks the sword of Logan. With a serious look, he severely stops the attack, emphasizing that the exam has not yet begun, and for ill-advised actions there are consequences. Roger holds the blade with one hand, demonstrating absolute control. Everyone around the observant. Meanwhile, the examiner Fitz makes notes and prepares the box, apparently for the next stage. Logan retreats with a stretched smile and apologizes. Roger orders everyone to return to their seats. Logan, eagerly looking at the Summer, calls it by name. The tension increases. Smiling, Logan says he can no longer wait when they fight. The atmosphere is exacerbated. Roger jokes, they say, he found a new friend. One officer responds to comment. Watching the candidates, Roger confesses to himself, this year the exam promises to be interesting. He acknowledges that the Logan has a talent, but is too self-assured. Roger doubts whether Logan will grow as a real knight. His gaze goes to Summer. Even without a class, he was able to harm using strengthening of physics. Roger is amazed and begins to perceive it more seriously. Changing its original opinion, Roger acknowledges that this time the candidates have true potential. The frame stops on Summer, Sari, Logan, and others. All gather in the yard for the next stage of workout. The instructor is convinced that the group in full warehouse. Convinced in the presence of everyone, it announces the beginning of an important test. It will be a real battle simulation. Participants will be evaluated by actions during the battle. The instructor emphasizes, despite the seriousness. This is not a battle for death. Everyone receives magical rings that create a protective barrier from harm. The task is to impress the opponent and break his protection. Who can handle wins. After the explanation, the instructor begins the exam. The first round of the A block begins the summer of Wellesley. It seriously takes a position. The opponent will soon be annoyed. The beginning was unexpectedly fast. When they call the name of his opponent, everyone is surprised. This is Logan Bentley, a self-confident candidate supported by peers. One of them laughs at the summer, calling him a parasite, but years are silent and focused on the opponent. Before the battle, the instructor checks whether they both put on the protective rings. Logan mocked the fight that the battle will be honest. And he adds, "It is a pity to you," that the summer just looks silently, remaining calm. Logan is confidently approached, provoking the summer for being erected together. The instructor gives a signal, the official start of the battle. Logan attacks the first, with a smile causes a fiery spear. The audience is amazed. He is a magician. He observes years. He recalls that the Bentley family is famous magicians with a long-standing reputation. Logan confidently throws another spell. Little Year's alert, does not look out of his eyes. The blow hit right in the target. Logan laughs, mocking. Even the instructor is surprised by the speed of his magic. But suddenly his magic breaks in the air. Logan is confused. Years, calm and assembled, easily neutralizes the spell. All around him are shocked by his skills. The audience has frozen. He steps through the flames without stopping. It activates the technique of heavenly strengthening, affecting speed and power. Feeling a rush of forces, sharpened reflexes, magical energy is surprised by its own form. Now it is easily protected even from the quick ones, what seemed impossible. The crowd is shocked when he cuts the fiery spear for years, what everyone was impossible. Even the instructor is amazed. Logan, surprised, but smiles, recognizes the opponent's skill. Then he adds, annoyed, he does not understand how a cluttered guy has skills, but arrogantly states that she never loses. Shows that he has mastered high-level techniques. The summer calmly accepts provocation. Logan calls himself a genius, again mocks the summer for his talentlessness, but that is immobile. Suddenly, Logan changes in his face. He has a new idea. It prepares a large-scale attack. The sky is filled with dozens of fiery spears. Recognizes that he has blocked the first spell, but now let him try to stop it. He releases his fire layer line technique. The battlefield explodes from force. "I am sure of victory," Logan screams about the end of the battle, but the judge stops. He has counterattacked the celestial blade. The blow is so strong that even a protective ring would not save Logan if it had hit. Logan tries to reflect, but completely broken by a powerful blow. The energy of this heavenly blade permeates everything and enters the wall of the arena. Logan sits on the ground, shocked. The Years stands firmly, holding the sword. He recognizes the technique. It was a heavenly blade, an exclusive skill of holy knights. How could someone without class use holy power? In panic, Logan realizes that his magic no longer works, confused and evil. He shouts, how can a guy like a summer can have sacred forces? Meanwhile, he looks at him silently, keeping the situation under control. Logan screams that he does not think that he is better, and collecting all the left magical energy, prepares the final blow. The voltage increases. Logan releases the final technique, the breath of the dragon, a magical explosion in the form of an angry dragon, which rapidly carries a blow to the summer. With his eyes wide open, he puts everything on this desperate attack. The technique causes a destructive explosion. The audience is sought. The shock wave reaches the stands, and the instructor is forced to activate the protective spell to protect the crowd. The exhausted Logan laughs and proclaims victory. He is sure that his power has decided. But an alarming instructor notes, Logan is not restrained. This attack could be deadly. But suddenly the firm erupts. Victory is not yours. The summer comes out of smoke intact. Stepping forward, Logan panics and launches a series of fiery spears. He shouts that it is impossible, but the summer stops nothing. A powerful blow punches Logan's protection. The earth under them cracks from force. The Logan protective ring does not stand. It cracks from the load. The impact force is so powerful that the arena floor explodes. The fragments fly in all sides. The audience closes the faces affected by the scale of destruction. Logan lies unconscious among the debris. The judge raises his hand. The winner is declared a Year of Wellesley. On the field, a depressing silence. Meanwhile, in the forest, a woman with a baby in despair shouts for help. They move a giant bear monster. There is no danger, and there is no protection. Suddenly, a young warrior appears and becomes between the monster and the victims, ready for battle. A woman with her baby looks at her with hope and surprise. After rescue, the knight asks if they are injured. The amazed boy thanks her and confidently asks, "Are you a knight?" Inspired by a feat, Small with enthusiasm states that he also wants to become a knight. She smiles, I'm sure you will be a wonderful knight. Then he looks at a little Summer, and you will also become a big knight. The Summer is officially declared the winner. He goes quietly until everyone is watching shock. People whisper, the air of the mighty family was broken in a matter of moments. Many first saw the technique of celestial blade. The Summer goes in silence, something feels. He received Logan's abilities, fire Laius, spear mode, dragon breath. All this happened during a blow. Despite the confusion, he accepts a new reality. He now has an opponent's strength, asks about the state of Logan. And he sees with relief, he did not suffer serious injuries. He confesses to years, he did not calculate the power, because he first used the technique of Sent Knight. The instructor looks at him with a serious expression, it looks like, wants to say something important. It is prepared to declare the next battle, inspired by the potential of Summer. But suddenly the Logan is picked up, angry, and blames the Summer of fraud, right in the middle of the ceremony. Logan with a fury requires to cancel the battle. He refuses to admit defeat and blames the Summer of fraud. He says he hid his real class and is actually a holy knight disguised as a classless one. This, they say, violates the rules and disgrace the honor of the test. The Logan insists on the accusations and tries to convince everyone. He has won only because he secretly received help from the true holy knight. So he explains his extremely powerful techniques and calls it deception to bypass the exam. He requires the disqualification of the Summer and shouts that fraudulent. Some people start to agree. It is difficult to believe that the classroom has been able to use the technique of Sent Knight. Although Logan's words are exaggerated, doubts will raise among the candidates. One of the judges proposes to postpone the decision on the results of the battle. Logan looks with hope, waiting for the punishment of Summer. But suddenly a solid, powerful phrase, it is not necessary. And at all the majestic figure stops. This is Princess Iris. Its appearance is stunning everyone. It is clear in the tone, it came to resolve the situation immediately. All present are leaning with respect to Princess Iris. It is revealed she is the first princess of the Empire Lorens. Little is shocked, does not understand why such an important person is here. She smiles confidently and approaches him. Princess Iris states there was no deception and confirms that there is no registered class in the Summer. But the techniques of heavenly strengthening and heavenly blade are really him. All are amazed. Iris accuses the true guilty, Logan Bentley, who has broken the spirit of chivalry. Logan tries to get out and says he does not understand what it is about, but Iris replies. She has evidence, she causes a young woman widow, the truth is about to pop. The witness says that during the battle, several people used the magic of reinforcement to help Logan. Iris confirms this is true. He says not to deceive her, because she has the ability to have influences and saw everything. It exposes the crime of Logan and his accomplices, who cheated with magic, with evidence in your hands. He orders to arrest everyone. Logan tries to justify himself, but is ignored. The guards pull it away. Iris officially completes the case confidently, clearly, and finally. All stunned by her determination, the litter is striking, comparing it with a storm. In silence, she calls on everyone to get up and returns the course of the ceremony. The princess approaches the Summer and directly asks his name. He, surprised, replies with respect. Everyone is silent. In the air it is felt that a new recognition begins. Iris looks intently in the Summer. Her serious and evaluating look is anxious. After a short pause, she confidently says she had already decided what to do with him. With a confident smile, the princess announces, at her will, the years will become a member of the royal guard. He is stunned. He does not understand how he was in this position. The next day, he welcomes the peasant, and accidentally touching her hands, gets the skill of cooking. She smiles and wishes him success in the case. Thanks to the ability to copy talents, the villagers begin to actively contact him for help. In the end, Iris personally leads the Summer to the imperial throne. In front of the emperor himself, Richard III solemnly announces he represents a new member of the royal guard, the elected. Little is shocked, he stands in front of the king himself, surrounded by nobles and viewers, trying to keep peace. But inside is worried, how did he get into such a majestic situation? Iris officially states that the Summer will be part of the royal guard. All stunned, one of the examiners tries to deny. He says that there was no such thing, a newcomer immediately in the guard, but Iris insists, can't take it with him. The examiner explains that knights have a hierarchy. Those who take the exam start with the 9th rank. And only the knight that heads everyone else has the first rank. The purpose of the summer violates the order. Iris listens carefully. The judge adds that only knights from the 7th rank can get into the guard. The princess replies, nothing forbids immediately to give the 7th rank. There are no objections. Iris orders immediately to issue summer to the personal sector. All of it are impressed by its authority. Iris's hand presses and promises not to let it down, now when he is in the royal guard. Iris smiles, she counts on him, then he says he wants to introduce him to someone. He agrees immediately, ready for the next step. But the king looks at him with a strict expression. It is noticeably nervous of the guy. Iris tries to persuade his father, reminding the impressive victory of the summer on a duel. The king turns to the summer, and he notes his appointment to the guard is unusual. It hints that the daughter clearly showed excessive interest. Little answers, but it is visible. He is ashamed and embarrassed. And here Iris shocks everyone, officially states she chooses the summer as her future husband. The summer is fading, incapable of saying a word. He is fully stunned by the princess's statement. The summer exclaims in amazement, trying to realize what is happening. The king is silent, but smiles slightly. The princess just smiles, everyone around the confused. The unexpected statement is stunning the hall. The king approaches and comments that his daughter seems to have a special attitude in the summer. He relieves that the king is not angry. The summer is finally relaxing. The king extends his hand. They press their hands, a gesture, but right after, the king radiates a threatening aura. Everyone around covers the feeling of suffocating tension. Years in horror, it seems that he will be killed now. The king looks seriously and says, "You need to have a courage to compete for his daughter." The king is afraid of his legendary power. It is rumored that he himself destroyed the enemy camp, and even killed the dragon with one blow. His glory only presses stronger. The years fades, feels the look of the same king who destroyed the dragons. Despite the whole threat, the king still holds summer, smiles with a serious expression, and this gesture contrasts with the imaginary image of the sword over his head. Tension is felt to the tips of the fingers. After demonstration, the king recedes and suddenly laughs, praising the summer for endurance. He sighs with relief. He thought it was the end. Iris looks with curiosity. The king, still smiling, turns to her daughter. And with a serious tone, he says, "Talent is more important than origin." He recognizes the value of summer. He promises to reward him with the title of the duke, or to make a son-in-law if he continues to stand out. Iris is moved, years stunned, and unexpectedly receives arms from the king himself. The year praises the king for his kindness. Iris agrees happily. The king jokes that a wonderful couple would come out. Iris is red, does not know how to react. When the summer again turns her as a princess, she sharply corrects, "Call it just Iris. This is an order." Later, he asks where they are going now, contacting her by name. Iris is surprised by his initiative, but she smiles quickly. She says she didn't say where they were going. The answer raises even more questions in the summer. Meanwhile, during training, a masked warrior confidently blocks the opponent's attack. Another fighter is fast and decisive. He makes a jump aimed at an accurate blow. The duel promises to be fierce. The young warrior defeats the opponent with an accurate acrobatic blow. At the same time, Iris leads the summer with an elegant corridor and reports that he will now be represented by the royal guard. And he adds that the summer will serve directly under her command. When approaching the door of the guard's hall, a year remembers something. It seems very important. Suddenly, a sword with a serious look. With a sword in his hands, he gives a warning. The sword begins the battle, but it is quickly neutralized. Watching it, another guard's comments, "It seems that among the royal guards, there is someone who is far superior to normal levels." After overthrowing the enemy, the sword presses him to the ground and demands to know who tries to kill him. He watches the side in full surprise, not understanding what is happening. Meanwhile, he officially seems to the king as a new knight of the royal guard, and Iris claims that she has chosen him with his future husband. After a pause, the king jokingly, but with a threat in his voice, he says that summer is the end. He is completely knocked out of the panther. Iris solemnly represents the summer as a new member of the royal guard to all present. One of the guards asks the words, hinting that it will now sound something important. The years politely meets everyone, saying that I am glad to be here. The guards are silent, but one of them steps forward, demonstrating serious intentions. The guardian approaches the summer. It is called Larg, the heir to the duke, asks the origin of the summer, hoping for a noble answer, but he just replies that he is an ordinary common man. Larg begins provocation, questioning how the common man became a royal knight. With a sarcastic smile, he asks which knightly order he came. Iris is silently watching the tension. She reveals that he was dedicated to the knight only today, which shocks the audience. Heard Larga removes from equilibrium. He instantly goes forward with a tense expression, Summer and Iris alert. They are preparing to defend themselves. The atmosphere is rapidly aggravated. Larg learns that the Summer has immediately increased to the 7th rank, and in his eyes there is a suspicion. The Summer was foreseen. He knew that others would also doubt. Larg explodes by indignation, calling such an increase absurd. He angrily asks who allowed such a decision, attracting the attention of all present. Iris looks at him with a contempt and states that she approved this appointment. When asked, she directly challenges Largu, hinting that he doubts the abilities of Summer. The tension increases. Larg swallows nervously. Iris proposes to hold a quick duel to prove the skill of Summer. Larg immediately agrees. He cannot wait to check the forces of the newcomer, lidded shocked with unexpected challenge. One of the guards tries to stop Larga, accusing him of disrespect for the princess. The URC captain interferes and forbids a match between Summer and Larg. He recalls that Larg is still injured and has not recovered. Despite the protests, the URC stands firmly on its own and offers another way to test the Summer. Now he is preparing for a duel with Captain Urs himself, who assumes responsibility for checking his strength. Both stand opposite each other, serious and fully concentrated. Everyone whispers about the extraordinary power of Captain Urs. He is considered one of the most powerful among the Royal Guard. However, Iris confidently states that he believes in the Summer. She trusts his abilities of the Holy Knight, even before such a formidable rival. The URC captain announces the rules of the duel. No combat technicians are only swords in hand-to-hand combat, but with active protective rings with the consent of both sides. The duel begins officially. The Summer attacks the first, causing a powerful blow. However, he quickly realizes that the URC is much stronger than it seems. Without retreating, Years changes tactics and begins to test the opponent. It circulates around Urs, applying a series of fast and accurate blows. During the exchange of blows, he feels the power of the captain. His movements become heavier, but he does not stop. URC is surprised by the endurance of the Summer and recognizes its strength simply during the battle. Viewers also begin to recognize the talent of Summer. Even Larg reluctantly recognizes his ability. Iris is silently watching, struck. Feeling the pressure, the URC goes on a serious offensive and attacks full force. The Years barely withstand a powerful blow. For the first time, the real power of the captain opens. It is affected by the destructive force it faces. One of the direct blows of Urs rejects Summer towards the upper balustrade. The impact destroys part of the structure, stunning the audience. Despite a powerful throw, Years are quickly raised. He confesses that he could not protect himself, but immediately changes the stable and jumps with a decisive look at the enemy, going on the offensive. With his sword, he rushes down the alert, trying to break the course of the battle. URC understands the idea and calls that it will not be restrained either. Both are ready to stand up in this decisive duel. Everyone is suddenly surprised. Something falls from heaven. The scene changes sharply. Elsewhere, the young man stands on the ground, staring at the ground. A fragment of a tree falls next to the roar. He almost died. Behind him is a night watchman, which in silence creates tension. Meanwhile, the protagonist, with a cry, rushes forward. He attacks from above, but the enemy remains calm and waits for the right moment. Holding in the air, Years becomes vulnerable. The URC uses this moment and causes a special blow. The captain raises the cracked wooden part and silently stands in front of everyone. He confesses to his defeat. It shocks everyone. Unexpected honesty is surprised. URC recalls how underestimated the opponent. He thought he would stand the blow, but the Years were more dangerous than it seemed. The captain admits that if he did not activate his equipment, he would lose, and even with her he was defeated, others shocked by his sincerity. After the defeat of the UCC, praises a young knight, saying that his future will be impressive. The scene ends, all collected in the yard, where the tension subsides and a new respect is born. The captain announces that he has received a new mission. He will no longer be able to protect the princess. The responsibility for the safety of the princess suddenly rests on the Summer. He is confused, not fully realizing that he had just become her personal guard. Together with Iris, he goes on an important journey to the Grand Duchy of Grawl. Although only 3 security guards are accompanied, the URC is fully trusting the Summer. The carriage moves in silence, and the princess remains immersed in reflections. 2 others are a serious Larg and a devoted Lieutenant Zack, which even on the road does not stop training. Zack incites Larga not to graze the back, and not let the newcomer get out of them. Before leaving, Iris warns the summer of danger. The killer could hide among the royal knights. Her words are filled with anxiety. The mission is much more dangerous. She confesses that she has already been attacked and miraculously survived. After that, she lost confidence in the order and was convinced a traitor nearby. The suspicion falls on her consolidated sister, Princess Camilla. Iris chose Summer because of distrust of others. Before the road, she asks to meet at night to tell more. At night, exhausted, he complains of body pain, but mentions the promised meeting. Not knowing where the Iris room, he begins to look for it, wandering the corridors. When he enters, he finds Isa, which suddenly hugs him. It is confused. He does not understand what is happening. She looks straight into the eyes, provokes him with a smile and orders to remain silent. The atmosphere between them becomes tense. He is tight and does not know how to respond, and she continues to look in his eyes calmly and mysteriously. The abominable years are trying to leave, but Iris enjoys his reaction. Zack suddenly comes in, notices a strange atmosphere, but Iris retains calm and releases it. Zack reports that Larg noticed a group of bandits approaching. Iris and Years are instantly straining. The situation is exacerbated. One of the night guards breaks with an urgent order to flee, but his behavior raises suspicion. His gaze and movement of the hand expose a hidden threat. Iris is alert. Zack suddenly attacks the back. Iris is in danger, but he has managed to catch the blow. He accuses Zack of betrayal, and he smiles ominously, confirming his intention. Zack admits that he plans to kill Iris and Summer to hide his betrayal. Iris recognizes it was she who suspected him. With a dead look and a sword in his hand, he is preparing for a deadly attack. It causes a stone copy. A giant spear flies towards Iris and Summer. The attack is lightning and extremely powerful. They have time to evade, but the tension is growing. Iris is aware that the danger has not yet passed. Zaxta uses another spell, Stone Hand. Giant hands are erupted from the ground, trying to grasp both. Summer covers panic. The stone hand compresses the body, paralyzing. In despair, Iris watches as he is fighting helplessly without having time to be released. Suddenly, a mysterious creature appears, which attacks, breaking its concentration. Zac loses control of the spell. Recovering, he mockingly approaches the Summer, assuring that he is not worth his reputation. The Summer is trying to answer, but exhausted. Iris watches hard until he is preparing to strike a decisive blow. Zamo reveals the plan, to make a fake report as if he had caught the Summer during the murder of the princess, and then heroically destroyed the traitor. Enjoying the future victory, he coldly makes a sentence: the Summer is doomed. Desperately, he beats his fist, but he barely reacts, only briefly surprised. And then he begins to mock, laughing that the blow was like a mosquito bite. At this point, something wakes up. Stone fragments rise around the Summer. It mastered the same techniques as Zack, a stone copy and a stone hand. Using a new force, a stone hand causes a stone hand, which is grabbing. He screams with fear when he realizes that his own magic turned against him. The year concentrates energy and produces a fiery cop. The spear punches the target with the devastating force, ending the battle. Zak, destroyed and shocked, falls. In the floor, a huge hole, followed by the force of impact. Iris rushes to the Summer, asking his condition. He assures that everything is fine, though he has not yet recovered. While he comes to his senses, the UCC appears and praises him. He was waiting for such potential, but a sudden cry is anxious. The expression of Iris changes. She feels that something serious will happen now. In memoirs, ZNB demonstrates skills, incredible blows, powerful techniques, and special transformation. Lit and Iris were then observed, impressed with the power of the lieutenants, who were considered true monsters on the battlefield. The ghost is in a hurry to Lord Rida with an urgent message. Hearing that it is about Summer, the face of Lord changes sharply. The news years became a royal guard. Rhea reaction is shock. It can have political consequences. Lord understands that this increase can destroy ancient plans. The atmosphere is tensed. The ghost adds that the night exam has been brilliant and immediately received the 7th rank. This is so unexpected that the rod is grabbed on its feet. The threat of its influence becomes real. Rad explodes fury, calling the Summer with a non-class outcry. But the Ghani explains, during the examination, the princess personally saw how he used the skills of the Holy Knight. This was enough. Hearing about the power of the Holy Knight, the Rud loses control, grabs a messenger, and requires explanations. Meanwhile, Lord Kite is already aware of the increase in Summer. His serious look shows that now everything is gaining in scale. In the forest, 2 goblins discuss something fun until they notice a strange movement from the thicket. One of them falls dead instantly. Others in shock, the attacker remains unknown. Lord Kite appears from the darkness. With a cold smile and a sword in his hand, he instantly destroys another goblin. One goblin tries to attack behind, but the kite instantly notices it. With one devastating blow, the kite carries out the enemy, put into motion enormous power. Goblin's body flies far. In the air echoes a power that reveals its complete advantage. The kite calmly meets the offensive. One of the goblins rushes. But he catches a shield and hit the trunk powerfully, throwing the enemy with fury. The difference in strength is enormous. The kite activates the technique of Heavenly Rise, sharply increasing strength and speed. Goblin in shock is the technique of the Holy Knight. They do not believe that a beginner is capable of this. Suspicion and fear are spreading the battlefield. While the kite reigns in the arena, one of the goblins is aware of. The kite is the 7th rank, and it is stuck in the 9th. The kite, in response, destroys the next monster with the blow of such a force that it doubts in doubt. It went beyond their level. Another dissatisfied warrior observes on the side. He cannot accept that kite, without class and title, possesses the techniques of the Holy Knight. But despite the lack of official status, the kite confidently demolves enemies with its imperfect force. The monster is approaching, forcing the earth to tremble. The kite calmly raises his hand a sharp look, ready to counterattack. His sword, pierced by heavenly energy, dissects the air. The blow explodes with light, breaking the enemy attack. The bodies of goblins fly into the air like dolls. They do not even have time to react. Among the dust appears a figure in armor. The kite stands on the mountain of vanquished enemies, unmoved. A man approaches him, addressing his name and asking not to worry. The atmosphere thickens. A mysterious stranger brings with him tension. The knight blonde looks at the kite on top. I am convinced that his lift to the 7th rank is deception. He points to the future knightly tournament and says it is a chance to prove his strength and get the title. The tournament is designed for newcomers up to 3 years old. Victory gives automatic increase. This is exactly how this knight gained his 7th rank. Rightly, he thinks. Confidently looking at the kite, he states that this is the only legitimate path to the top. The kite accepts the call without hesitation. He is confident in his forces of the Holy Knight. He states that he cannot lose. The commander orders the kite to win the tournament and surpass the summer. That silently accepts the goal. Elsewhere, the man asks the king whether he is fine. The king replies that, despite the situation, feels good. Another character is hesitant before talking, impressed with events. A tense warrior turns to the captain, asking why he is here, but the captain quietly advises to calm down. He reveals that he was near the king all this time and watched everything. And the security reduced intentionally. To get a killer, it is surprising, though only superficially, not at risk. The captain notes that he did not interfere because others have already coped with the killer. The woman notices the strange behavior of the lieutenant, but the man replies that she understands everything. She is surprised why such a reckless group conceived the murder of the king. The captain suggests that the Princess Camilla, who seeks the throne, stands behind everything. The man recalls that Camilla is a sister of Iris. The woman exclaims the name Lifa. She warns of the Duel tournament next week. Camilla will probably be important. Life understands. In the royal family, everything is difficult. She turns to him. Life confirms that she listens carefully. She asks to demonstrate the power so that the enemies understand they should not be underestimated. Lifa's gaze is serious. His fist shrinks in determination. He says he understood everything. Meanwhile, the captain is thinking about the terrain. The streets of the city are the bustle. People scream between shops until someone points to the crowd of something strange. The city includes a detachment of the Central Order of the Night. People will be delighted. Among them are Sarah, Claire, and Cindy. Someone calls Sarah. She looks around in surprise. Life and Iris appear together, attracting her eyes. Sarah immediately recognizes the princess. And she recalls what I once thought to invite her to the royal guard. Cindy is wondering why Princess with Life. Iris explains that she has appointed Lifa with her guard. Life thanks Sari, saying that he could not without her. She shared her power with him. Sarah is confused, but confesses that there is a lot of Life guilty. Iris jokingly hints that Sarah has a feeling for him, but it is immediately embarrassed. Sarah is trying to explain, but Iris continues to tease. People whisper around. A love triangle begins. Life does not understand what is happening. Iris smiles and says they are rivals now. She calls for Sarah to win the tournament and join the guard to serve next to Life. Sarah hesitates before answering, but suddenly a cry is heard. The thief attracts the attention of everyone. people stop in anxiety. A perpetrator with ice abilities threatens residents. Those in panic run away. The princess orders first to take care of the safety of the people, and then to hold the thief. Life with comrades are preparing for actions. He yells that after evacuation he will rob. Meanwhile, they throw a huge stone. A man in a hood with 2 guards appears, smiling mysteriously. He laughs at the thief, calling him a fat fly flying in the air. The thief is angry, accepts the challenge, and rushes for a mysterious stranger. A man-shaped man releases a powerful explosion that immediately flies in the sky, dazzling and stunning everyone. The audience is shocked by the speed and force of its impact, and the stranger himself mocks, stating that he was expecting a more interesting show. 2 guards ask him to stop playing and remind them that they need to go. Life asks the princess if she knows this mysterious man. Iris replies, this is Julius Argyll, a sage from the Eastern Order of Knights. The map depicts the Empire of Lorens, a country protected by elite knights known for their skills. And every year, geniuses from all over the country gathered here to harden their skills. All this for the sake of participation in the main event of the year, the big tournament of duels. The Empire Tournament Lorens takes place in the arena of the Colosseum Polaris, where the crowd is looking forward to fighting. The audience filled the arena, sneerically greeting the beginning of the event. The presenter asks, are they ready to see who will become the new hero? Another presenter says that many heroes have gained glory in this tournament. The winner will receive the title of 7th rank. She challenges all newcomers. Before fighting, the public represents the guards of the nation legendary knights. They are considered the embodiment of strength and an example for new generations. They provide peace in the country. The arrival of Captain Leonifrost from the Central Order is announced. The crowd explodes with the ovations. Someone says Leon is still extremely popular. Others notice strange noises in the crowd. Further in the arena includes Captain Rajal Radner from the Western Order, known for his invincible defense. Radner offers Leonie Paris, who will last longer at the tournament. The winner is a treat at the expense of another. Leon is amazed, and at this point, they announce Captain Ralph Sullivan from the Eastern Order. Ralph is famous for destroying monsters and remains cold-blooded in any situation. He believes in his newcomers and puts on their victory. The presenter announces the emergence of the first princess of the Empire Lorens. She turns out gracefully, like a goddess, fascinating all present. The people love it for the generous heart and devotion to their people. Princess Iris Lorens is welcomed by ovations. It is she who supports peace in the capital. Her beauty and charisma cause admiration. Some notice that Lifa, its guard, now is not nearby, which is surprising. The presenter announces the first participant of the tournament. He solemnly goes into the arena. It is a knight from the west. His body looks like a whole armor that breathes force. It strikes the rivals with unrestrained power, like a volcano that is about to explode. His aura is about to break the air. The audience shakes his breath, watching his amazing force. His name is Marie Dirt, Knight Tank. The crowd is delighted with his morale. Every movement is full of fierce and power, which makes him respect him at first sight. Maurice Brutus is a promising beginner who has already shown himself on the battlefield, striking with strength and endurance. His opponent is a knight from the Central Order, the owner of divine abilities. These forces, according to all, are given by the heavens themselves. Against him is Sarah from the Central Order, a sword master, known for perfect equipment. Life monitors her carefully, urging not to give up. Sarah only squeezes the sword's arms. She will not allow herself to lose. The presenter reports, her class is the Holy Knight, and she is a star growing in the Central Order. Sarah Scott strongly goes into the arena. In her eyes, the thirst for victory is red. The presenter calls both to the center, explaining the rules. Defeat is a fall or exceeding the circle for 10 seconds. The battle can be stopped. Both wear protective rings to avoid fatal blows. If the ring collapses or the fighter seems, the opponent wins. The priestess activates the protective barrier around the arena to protect the audience and participants. The magical shell gradually covers the arena with a transparent radiance. The presenter solemnly announces the beginning of the first round of the tournament. The knights of the event are opened against the elite knights of the center. The battle begins. The tension reaches the peak. Sarah, squeezing the sword, decisively rushes forward with a lightning attack. Maurice Brutus is preparing to answer. With all his power, Brute's blow knocks the Tsar from his feet. It falls to the ground after a powerful collision. The narrator reveals the story of Brutus. He was born in a humble village between the Lorens Empire and the novels of Turn. Their life was peaceful until one day. The bloodthirsty tiger did not see the village. Residents in panic are scattered, trying to escape. The peasants resist, waiting for the help of knights, although they did not know if the signal was taken to the last. The tiger clamps them in the corner, and the young guy rushes to protect others, despite the deadly danger. In an attempt to save the villagers, the young man is a brutal bite lightning attack. The shock is full. Finally, soldiers arrive. One of them orders the residents to flee, while the team is preparing for a fight with a tiger. Stunned by the courage of the young man, the knight casts a respectful look, a silent gratitude for bravery. One of the knights jumps with confidence, promising to hit the tiger with one blow. He rushes forward with determination to destroy the threat. The knight lands with the devastating force, affecting the tiger with one blow. The earth cracks under his feet, and the beast falls in the eyes of all. He praises the young man for bravery and asks his name. He, barely translating his breath, calls himself Morris Brutzer. The knight smiles, thanks, and memorizes the name of a brave guy. Morris recalls how Rigel recognized him after the battle. It was then that he was born in his desire to become strong as a captain. He went a difficult way, training, joining the Order of Western Knights, a promise of victory. In front of him Sarah, but now he is another, became stronger. Sarah rushes forward and causes a series of accurate blows. The opponent meets her with a powerful shield. She evades, retreats, chooses a moment for the next jerk. In her look there is a deep focus. Victory is its goal. Sarah activates the Thousand Frost technique and lightly flies forward with a sharp blow. The opponent raises the shield using the steel citadel. The energy explosion is shaking the arena. The attack and protection met. After the collision, the knight loses balance. Sarah does not hesitate. When he activates a steel chariot, she sees a chance to accurately counterattack. It cleverly evades, knocks it out, and gracefully slides into the center of the arena. Magical seal appears on Earth, a sign of activation of special technology. They converge in the center again. He is in heavy armor, she is alert with his sword. Both are set to decide the battle to the end. The audience kept breathing. Something is about to happen. The narrator does not restrain the delight. It will be a crucial moment. The duel becomes fierce. No one seems their strength is almost equal. The veterans from the stands comment on the experience of Morris. Despite his age, he skillfully has a heavy hammer. This skill is a rarity even among experienced. From the time of joining the order, he did not retreat to any monster. He always defended his comrades, gaining combat experience at the cost of risk. The audience is shocked by the new girl of the order. Sarah impresses everyone. The battle is unpredictable. No one makes a look. Among the crowd, a captured man smiles, playing a cubic. Everything begins for him. After a short pause, the opponent turns to Sarah roughly, "Just you." Outraged, she demands respect and names her name. The knight is softened, repeating it as if memorizing. Suddenly, Morris stops and confesses to her in love from the first moment of battle. Sarah is confused, does not know what to answer. The audience is stunned. Until she has recovered, the rest of the characters respond with sarcastic comments. Someone notes that in the detachment of Morris only men, maybe that so spontaneously fell in love. Iris, meanwhile, gets fun. Sarah is nervous, sighs, not knowing how to answer, but later he looks strongly at him. She states that she will answer after the battle, and warns will not be kept. Morris smiles, that's what he hoped for. Both are serious. The duel will continue with a new wave of determination. Sarah breaks forward at a frantic speed, and from the strength of its jerk, the earth cracks as if from an earthquake. He looks at the opponent focused. She is ready to complete this battle. But after the collision of her knee touched the earth, the advantage on the side of Morris. Without any hesitation, Morris rushes forward again, breaking the arena until the commentator shouts that he knows no regrets. Sarah tries to rise, but his leg leads pain and shock cover it, but it does not seem and forces the body to continue the battle. Morris Gamsa, with a hammer on the earth, lifting the stones, smiles boldly, knowing that he created the perfect zone for attack. But Sarah drives the sword into the ground, pushes and flies up, ignoring chaos around. In the air, she preferably prepares a new attack focused on the ladder, striking everyone with accuracy and jerk into the air. Avoid the next blow of Morris and immediately goes into a counterattack, forcing him to go into defense. Spins in the air, throwing a powerful shock. The goal is the neck of Morris. Even the narrator is amazed by its accuracy. The tension in the arena increases. Everyone kept breathing. What happens next? Morris takes a blow. His protection is adamant. The audience is delighted, a real tank of battle. During the collision, Sarah recognizes the strength of the opponent, squeezing the sword's arms even more. Morris calmly states that he can repel any attack. He recognizes her strength, but fully believes in the shield. Sarah is aware of victory only through the breakdown of defense. Fearlessly rushes at him, aimed at the shield. Her attacks are fast, accurate. She is looking for a weak place and the shield holds. It does not seem, it continues pressure, beats with new force, trying to break through the defense. Memories Sarah injured her hand during her own workout. Nearby is her father, Dolce Scott. The blacksmith notices the wound, examines her hand, urges to be careful and helps heal the damage. Interested, Sarah asks how he breaks solid stones with one blow. Dolce only smiles mysteriously. She asks her to look carefully, demonstrating the technique with a stone in her hands. He teaches Sarah to feel the stone with his hands, find a weak place. Explains in each stone there is a point for a slight stroke, one accurate movement, and the stone splits in half. Stroke, Sarah asks, if he does not find weakness. Then with a smile, the father answers, still easier. It is prepared to show an alternative solution. Returning to battle, Sarah beats again and again. A crack appears in the shield. It aims at focused, all the force concentrates on this exact place. And he releases the technique on the full. The blade hit exactly into a weak place of the shield. The shield cracks and explodes on the wreckage, forcing Morris to solidify with surprise. Defense is destroyed from the impact. The audience is amazed. Sarah explains that she purposefully beat in one place until she created a crack. Commentators are amazed. This shield was considered unbreakable. Observers note the accuracy of its blows. The leader of the Royal Knights is convinced that Sarah was preparing before joining the order and declares that she wanted to see her among his own. Others were breathtaking, waiting for the girl's reaction. Morris looks at the wreckage of the shield and praises Sarah sincerely. He always felt that she was unusual. Surprised but sincerely amazed, he confesses that he has never seen anything like that. Sarah listens silently, passionately fascinated by his words. Even without the shield, Morris is raised with new forces, states that the real battle is just beginning, and again goes on the attack. The audience fades, all in anticipation of the new round. The views are chained in the arena. But suddenly Sarah puts the sword in the vagina. The crowd is surprised. No one understands why she gave up weapons. The audience whispered, "Will she be beating naked?" Morris does not understand what the rival has conceived. It rushes forward, swinging a hammer for a direct impact. Sarah does not take out the sword, follows him, waiting for the right moment. The voltage increases. Morris collapses, a devastating blow, and Sarah cleverly evades. Her movements are accurate. The control is perfect. Despite continuous attacks, it is calm. Each of its movement is designed and the body is obeyed. She waits, her moment has not yet come. Meanwhile, in the lodges, veterans notice that Morris begins to lose their self-control. Someone associates it with a shield loss. But an experienced knight understands that his rage is caused by the fact that Sarah does not even get a sword. It provokes him even more. Morris attacks in anger and meets the peaceful look of the rival. She just smiles, standing close without fear, without words. The voltage between them reaches the limit. Morris tries to catch her by surprise, but she reacts lightly. One accurate blow and Morris flies. The earth is flying under it. The audience explodes with exclamations. Shocked, he tries to get up, but Sarah does not give a chance. A powerful blow to the chin, then a strong blow. It fully controls the battle. Irritated, Morris screams to pull his sword. He feels humiliated, thinks that he is mocked. Sarah does not answer. Her look remained cold and collected. She waits only to the right moment. Morris rushes with a hammer, but she is lightly approaching. In her movement, accuracy and speed, blows straight into the target. Morris falls to the ground, completely immobilized. She holds it without letting you get up. All around the stunned Sarah, one without even pulling his sword. Morris lies on the ground, not able to move. It keeps it completely under control. And only now Sarah slowly gets his sword, a silent, worthy finale. Sarah smiles with confidence, as if he simply fulfills his request to get a sword. But now, after victory, it sounds like the last ironic point in battle. Morris recognizes the defeat with a smile. He agrees. She was right. The crowd explodes with joy. The triumph fills the arena. Everyone is delighted. The victory of Sarah stunned and seized the audience with its non-standard style. The judge officially announces the completion of the duel. Sarah won the first round. She calmly inspects the arena, confident and proud. One of the knights praises Leon for his brilliant preparation of his subordinate. He notes that holding the sword in the vagina was a cunning provocation. Sarah forced Morris to lose control. Everyone converges. It was a thoughtful tactic that allowed her to strike an accurate blow at the right moment. However, an experienced knight warns such a risk could end in a serious injury if something went wrong. He asks if someone else noticed her talent since she entered the central order. The expressions of the faces around speak for themselves. Sarah immediately attracted attention. Leon is unexpectedly confessed. Sarah came to the order only because of her title of the Holy Knight, and she had no idea about her abilities. Frankly, words create a slight tension. Other knights exchange views. After the battle, Morris calls Sarah and reminds of his confession, but surprised, she forgot about it, but she remembers. Inside it is panic. Sarah is embarrassed by him, apologizing with a tense smile. Morris lowers his eyes, he hurts. He asks whether his weakness is. Sarah denies immediately, firmly explaining, it is not in force. With a sincere smile, she confesses, in her heart already has another. He says quietly but decisively. Refusal is not because of his strength, but because her feelings are already different. Morris loses both in the battle and in love. All attention is switched to Sarah, which is happy to run to the summer. She wants to share her victory with him. But it is at this point that a new character appears. Years surprised and clearly tense, he did not expect to see this person here. The atmosphere changes instantly. The new guest is a secret, and the tension in the air is noticeable. Two men look closely in the summer. One immediately requires explanation why he is here. Its presence clearly causes dissatisfaction. The match between the Central and Western Order is completed. Sarah's victory was the opening of the tournament. The battle turned out to be exciting, and the crowd still applies. The presenter notes its high level and full involvement of the public. The arena is devastated. The organizers announce a break for the restoration of the field. The audience is asked to wait a little. Meanwhile, the years approach men who continue to press on it. One speaks powerfully, the other mockingly, they say, pretends to be heard. The voltage increases. Hearing his name, he shudder. Sarah tries to relieve tension, with enthusiasm states that he passed the night exam. Not just surrendered years, he was already appointed to the royal guard and entrusted to the prince's protection. But even this news does not dispel the tension. The Duke of Rudd and his ally do not look. Sarah tries to stand up for Summer, but she is coldly interrupted. One of the men roughly breaks, stating that he did not ask her thoughts and outsiders here. Her words are depreciated, forcing them to retreat. This is only between him and Summer. A light-haired young man with sarcasm tells how his older brother, the original heir, lived carelessly until the divine revelation of his own talent was received. Because of this, the title was inherited, a new heir to the Duchess house, who proudly accepted his appointment. He drops his head and thanks to his brother. He replies with contempt. Meanwhile, another man is approaching Sarah, humiliations, hinting that one victory means nothing. But the Summer goes forward, seriously grabs the attacker's hand, and he suddenly loses control of her. The tension increases, all stunned. The Years stands adamant and bows to the father, showing that he will not allow the image. He sincerely admits that he did not receive any divine blessing and did not live up to the family's expectations. With a drooping look, he apologizes for the shame that he brought to his father and their behalf. He confesses he awakened the ability by accident after Exile. The night exam passed on its own. And now he has become a royal guard. This news shocks everyone, even Sarah. Meanwhile, Kite looks with contempt and claims that he should be a true heir and a holy knight. The Summer, with a forced smile, recognizes expulsion was the right solution. He has not received any class, but in this world, without the gift from the gods, you just nothing. Suddenly, his father beats his fist on the ground. The explosion destroys everything around. Everyone is frozen from shock. Without saying words, the Duke stands among the debris, others silently watching, trying to understand the cause of this explosion of emotions. Among the ruins, the father orders the Summer to leave this place immediately. He states that he is not part of the family, but suddenly someone's decisive voice denies. This statement does not correspond to the truth. The tension disappears when an imposing figure appears. This is Iris Lawrence, the first princess of the empire. She asks the Duke to raise her head and remembers their last meeting with a smile. The princess tells that she saw the ability of the Summer at the night exam and personally recruited him to the royal guard. His name seemed to her. She soon opens official data and declares everyone the Summer really was kicked out of the family. Even her father is stunned by such a statement with her mouth. The Duke corresponds to Iris. In this world, the class given by the gods is absolute and defines social status. He says he served the Holy Knight in the Eastern Order for many years and explains the hierarchy. The Holy Knights and Saints are the highest class. Magicians and warriors are medium. The peasants and traders are lower. The audience listens carefully to the description of this rigid system. It is believed that the high class is the blessing of the gods themselves. The tournament itself is created as an arena where the elite has to prove its power in battle. But now it is revealed that the guy who was taken to the royal guard never received any divine class, although he deserved this place with his skills. In a world where the class defines everything, the age remains without divine recognition. In their eyes, he is an apostate, the one whom the gods passed. One of the knights states he is rejected by the gods themselves and still holds a high position. It causes a wave of shock in the hall. Humiliated publicly, he hears the age of mockingly. If the gods have not recognized him, then he is not a place here. Sarah with anxiety monitors the stage, not believing that the name of the summer was at the center of such cruel disregard. Her gaze slips between Summer and his father. She is striking the icy indifference of the Duke, who sees only shame in her son. In the soul, Sarah unconsciously extends his hand until the Summer, wanting to support. She hears the words of the Duke, but does not accept them. Her belief in the Summer is unwavering. A woman in a hat confidently says that everyone has a role, even without a class from the gods. All have unique abilities, and weaknesses are covered with support. Value is not in the title, but in actions. She remembers the guy near her in defense without hesitation, risking her life to save her. Such a sincere desire to defend cannot be given, it is born in the heart. One of the aristocrats looks at Iris with seriousness. Seeing how she approaches the rejected young man, he asks, does she really want to go against the will of the gods? Iris only responds with a cheeky smile, who knows? With enthusiasm, she makes an unexpected proposal, and the Duke, wary, watching her intentions. The arena, fully restored by the magic of the prior, is ready for battle again. The inspired speaker promises even more spectacles. The second round is enthusiastically announced. The presenter warms the audience, hinting at new unfamiliar but powerful fighters. The next warrior is described as endowed with heavenly force, with devastating speed and explosive power. The crowd is breathing in a breath, waiting for what this non-opposite opponent will be. And suddenly the explosion of light shakes the center of the arena. The strongest appears in front of the public. The presenter reports with enthusiasm, is a representative of the Eastern Order, the carrier of the greatest power of the tournament. This is the Holy Knight Kate Wellesley. He confidently stands in the center, with a direct posture and a bold smile. The audience is delighted. The presenter reports with exaltation, it is time to find out. Who will become the rival of Wellesley? Everyone kept breathing. Princess Iris calmly raises his hand and says he has an offer, shocking all present. She directly proposes to prove her strength here and now. This creates acute tension. Someone in the crowd squeezes his fist. In the air, there is a premonition of a great clash. Iris announces that the Summer should go against Wellesley in the official battle of the tournament, all stunned by an unexpected turn. While the kite smiles, the years are slightly lost. Iris looks at them with confidence. Its decision is final. She suggests that if the kite wins the Summer, he will receive the 7th rank without the whole tournament. The Duke tries to argue, but Iris insists a public match leaves no room for doubt. The kite willingly agree. He is confident in his victory and sees this brilliant opportunity. To defeat a classless rival, such as years, for him, a trifle. The Duke is surprised by the boldness of Iris, but does not deny. Ride looks at Kate seriously. He puts his hand on his shoulder and orders, "You have no right to lose." The warning sounds rigid, let him not dare to neglect the opponent. The kite is listening too. In the next moment she caps up again, calling the Summer no one. He says he will show the true power of the Holy Knight. Rod goes silently, throwing only one team, you have to win. The Summer stands next to Sarah, the look is serious. The name of his opponent causes a wave of reactions. Despite the fact that he is recognized as a royal guard, he is still without class. The audience is amazed, someone is shocked, someone laughs, and only Iris smiles calmly. The news of the absence of a class in the Summer lifts a real explosion of emotions in the stands. One knight cannot believe in such, the other tries to reassure him. While the crowd is buzzing, the older man looks carefully. He seems to know something important. The audience become hostile. In the Summer, objects are thrown, offended. The mocking exclamations are heard from the stands. The presenter is in vain tries to calm the audience. People scream for him to go, but the years are firm, hiding emotions without retreating. The crowd is still noisy. Iris is watching silently anxious, and the kite only smiles smugfully. On the stands high nobility, their faces are motionless. The Duke Rad sits without reacting. The kite asks the judge to start the fight immediately, and the presenter gives a signal to the beginning of the duel. The judge gives the command, the second battle began. Both rivals are in the center of the arena ready for a fight. The swords are naked, the crowd froze. The kite smiles boldly, and the summer is calm, focused. The kite activates its technique, heavenly strengthening, the body flashes by force. He rushes to the opponent, hoping to finish the fight with one blow. Even the commentator is affected by an explosive attack. The kite enhances the attack of the celestial blade technique. It is taught full, trying to destroy the summer in an instant. The crowd is buzzing. Will the years have time to answer? A shocked lightning attack. Kita's blow breaks the earth in the center of the arena, lifting the explosion. Panic covers the audience. Everyone gets out of places. Kate's attack is striking with power. He tries to end the fight with one blow, but in a moment he falls around. The arena is dying. Iris looks confident, and the Duke Rudd retains seriousness. Sweat drops flow from the face of Kate. He looks down, not believing he has lost. The years strongly presses him on the ground and puts the blade on the neck. The battle is over. The kite lies humiliated, unable to answer. With the cold look of the years mocking his words, finish in a moment, yes. Paralyzed, the kite lies still. The audience is shocked by the fall of the one who praised. The kite recedes, the confused and angry, not understanding how everything is lost. The commentator does not hide the surprise. The year is quiet, classless, turned everything. The unexpected defeat of Kita shocked the arena. It falls on the ground in front of all. Another participant watches with surprise, not understanding how everything could happen so quickly. The battle demonstrates the growth of summer. Meanwhile, they explain, Heavenly Blade is the technique of holy knights. It concentrates an extraordinary force on the sword's edge to make a decisive stroke. But if the enemy is suitable earlier, the magic will dissipate and the technique will lose power. It happened with a kite. The summer has taken advantage of this weakness, lightening the distance and hit exactly in the stomach. The blow broke the activation. The force dissolved in the air. It was a rapid and accurate attack. The enemy's sword grabs the summer and completely neutralizes it. The kite is shocked. He did not even have time to react. Urs is surprised to watch the enemy's movements. In the meantime, the boy's memory sounds, I believe in you. He recalls these words, filled with determination to prove his own power. The kite looks stunningly in front of himself. He does not understand how everything has changed so suddenly. The judge asks if he is ready to continue. He gets up, malicious and humiliated. He calls it a coincidence, shouts that he never loses, worthless without a class. But the audience already notices the strength of Summer, despite its status. Even Kite is surprised by his pressure and accuracy. Viewers discuss the unexpected skill of whom everyone depreciated at the beginning. The crowd is increasingly interested in the Summer, which is competing along with the elite Holy Knight. Some of the observers are nervous. This result can change everything. One of them is aware of the depth of the situation. If the Summer loses, nothing will change, but if he wins, he is recognized as stronger than the Holy Knight. In any case, the reputation of the knights will get a blow. Princess Eris is watching a confident smile. Everyone around recognizes that she was skillfully planning events, causing silent admiration for her strategy. In the course of the inattention of years, the sudden frontal attack is undergoing. The kite is rapidly rushing forward with full force. He manages to break the opponent's protection with a direct blow, breaking balance. The Summer falls to the ground under the weight of the blow, lifting a cloud of dust while sliding. Despite the injuries, the kite does not stop and prepares to continue the offensive. The kite breaks into the jump again, trying to finish the battle of the technique of the celestial blade, and the years already know its weak place. He rapidly rushes to meet and stops the attack even before activation, quietly neutralizing the maneuver. The kite in a panic, he loses again. A powerful blow to the enemy's stomach aches with such a force that the crowd reacts with an explosion of emotions. Viewers are stunned by a sharp change. In the course of battle, Kite throws out of the arena. The disqualification timer starts. The crowd is delighted with seconds, and she watches the duel finale. The Sage of the Order of the Eastern Knights, Julius Argel, watches the battle with genuine interest. He admits that even without a class of years, he fully overheated the Holy Knight. He should be stronger. Julius calls him with a praised smile and notes that this guy is getting more interesting. The timer continues countdown. The wounded Kate, in despair, tries to get back to the arena until the end of the time. He jumps back into the arena at the last moment. The battle is restored. The kite, despite wounds and fatigue, exclaims boldly, calling itself the strongest, and rapidly attacks. The The summer catches the moment and draws an accurate, devastating blow to the enemy's face, instantly stopping his breakthrough. The attack ends with ideal extraction, the kite flies, and the crowd fades in delight in the strength of summer. Kite's allies are anxious, he himself is shocked and does not understand how quickly he was defeated. The summer is confidently looking at the fallen rival. The kite stands around, devastated, and years are preparing to say something crucial calmly and powerful. In a flashback, he appears to a baby with a piece of bread, looks directly at another guy in torn clothes and says firmly, "Give up." This scene reveals an important memory of his past, which formed the character of the hero. In another memory, the seller of bread offers Summer fresh pastries. He buys 3 loaves. The merchant warns of the dangers of the city, overflowing with thieves. Soon the boy steals bread in the summer and escapes. Immediately after theft of years, he realizes that it is a real crime. He understands that the warning was fair and his inattention was fatal. After paying for bread, the years go to the 4th district of the Empire Lawrence, the slums, where only the little ones live as a low class. The guy who stole the bread runs the streets of the area, breathing. The story emphasizes the status of low class leads to discrimination, and theft the only way to survive. The disadvantaged do not steal from malice, they are forced by hunger and despair. He finds a hungry guy and suddenly stretches him bread. He advises not to rush and ask you to no longer steal, a gesture of compassion in the cruel world of slums. The guy suddenly tries to hit the summer with his foot, surprised that he did not notice his appearance. Braid, he does not understand who before him and how he moves so imperceptibly. The summer is easily evading the impact, demonstrating a perfect reaction. Then the exact attack into the abdomen knocks the guy off his feet, throwing him to the ground. The young thief screams with pain, falling into dust. He lies helplessly, stunned, although he believes that it is not too serious. Looking at the summer, the guy begs to teach him to fight, full of determination. Declares he wants to become strong, and then the years rotate silently. He is amazed at sincerity, in the words of a guy who is already training, working out the river. Focusing on the water, the guy confesses, life in this city is a struggle, and strength is the only chance to survive. Sitting on the banks of the channel, he explains why he believed that he has helped him. He wants to become strong to get food and learn steady techniques. Despite the theft, he is convinced that he had forgiven him. After all, he did not call the adults, and he came to him. This is, according to the boy, proof of kindness. With a sincere smile, he confesses that he wants to become as strong as years. It touches the heart of the hero. The frame is completed by the image of a piece of bread, a symbol of hunger, struggle, and a new, unexpected connection. After listening to the guy's words, he throws something into the water years, probably bread, causing surprise. Then he replies with a barely noticeable smile. If someone speaks so sincerely, in these words there is definite truth. This gesture begins a new respectable connection. The summer agrees to train the guy, but warns, do not dare to give up halfway. He joyfully promises to try. They exchange smiles, the beginning of a new path. With a smile, he calls his name and extends his compressed fist. The guy confidently answers the gesture and calls his name Kite. Their fist touch becomes a symbol of a new friendship that will change the fate of both. Immediately after that, their joint training begins. Running the streets, the kite chokes and asks why so much effort. The summer calmly explains, to defeat the strong, you need endurance and breathing control. It is difficult to keep a pace in workouts with wooden swords. It misses a stroke due to inattention. The years explain that even legs should be protected. Despite the fatigue, he warns with a smile. After a break, 3 more networks await them. During the break, he passes the border of bread, he thanks. But he admits that tired and has no appetite. The summer insists. It is necessary to eat even without hunger, otherwise the strength will not remain. Stunned by the perseverance of the summer, Kite asks whether he is sometimes not a noble kind and why he trains so much. The summer just replies, you need. He tells that his father is a fighter with a strong class. He was predicted by a high classification, but in fact he trains to finally recognize him. If it does not become strong, it will not be recognized. The kite says that, apparently, the father of the summer puts a lot on him and considers it a good sign. The summer is a little confused with whether the kite is the same. He fuzzy. His father occurs at home occasionally, hinting at a cold and distant relationship. During the break in the training, Kite suddenly remembers today his mother's birthday. He gladly invites Summer to celebrate with his family. The Summer accepts an invitation with a smile. On the way, he keeps the cake cautiously, while the Kate is sincerely thanked him for his help. The guy is a little quit because he cannot pay, but years do not attach value. Kite happily points out that Mom will be happy. In the eyes, the excitement shines, and the Summer just smiles, glad to be useful. The Kite Fun goes into the house with the Summer, tells her mother about the guest and the cake. The mother welcomes them, saying that the father has just come. The Summer is trying to say hello, but suddenly alert. Entering with the cake, he fades years old. He recognizes the man at the table. This is his father. The look of that cold and restrained, and the age of dies in a silent shock. The atmosphere changes dramatically. The authoritative voice of his father makes the Summer sit. His eyes are enlarged. The body is tense. Emotional pressure does not hide. The Kite, having noticed the tension, asks what is happening. It becomes even harder to breathe at the table. He looks closely at the man opposite, tries to say something, but the words are frozen. He realizes that he is his father. The opening is stunning. The Kite looks confused without realizing what is happening. The stunned year looks directly into the eyes of a man and asks loudly why he is here. The room is a tense silence. He looks at him again and, shocked, calls him his father. It is confused and evil. It requires explanations, and there is a tension between them. Hearing the word father, the husband coldly orders to silence. The atmosphere is still thickening, and the woman near him asks why the baby is so turning. The Kite tries to protect his mother and continues to stand with the cake. A man with a mocking smile says that he asked an interesting question. And he asks in response, as he thinks, a person becomes worthless. The Summer is uncertain. When the Knight has no power, his look gives off inner tension and anxiety. The father confirms the answer is correct. He states that he always sought to post, and if it were not for force, he would have been taken away from him. Cold is cutting meat and adds, it survives only stronger. He says that he has reached the Duke's title for one generation, a rare achievement, and to hold the position, you need a decent heir. He looks simply in the Summer and strongly states, as the firstborn, it is he who has this responsibility. The father continues in a dry tone, if the years do not receive a high class up to 18 years, the future of the Duke's house is threatened. All hope is his speech at the class distribution ceremony. But just in case, he prepared another candidate. If the years fail, the duchy will go to the Kite. At first it was to remain secret to the ceremony, but now everything will be revealed, and the Kite is shocked. After these words, the father silently leaves the room, without leaving space for objections. Only the last order only throws goodbye, do not disappoint me. The room remains silence, soaked in pain, anger, and shock. Both boys are stunned by the truth. The Kite breaks into the Summer. Anger turns into an angry attack. Since the truth, his father has disappeared, and now he has been accused of the whole Summer. The battle flashes with new force. The Kite shouts that his father used him and his mother only as a protection of his power, and now he wants to speak everything in this battle. Nevertheless, his mother believed in that man, and always waiting for his return. The Kite anger mixes with old wounds. It pours everything that has accumulated in this battle against Summer. In the explosion of rage, he shouts that he is most injured to be only a replacement for the Summer. The pain of the past and the disregard for the father breaks out. At 18 years, he received the status of classless, finally disappointing his father. Instead, the Kite became a paladin, a class identical to his father. It was then recognized for the first time. Kite considered it fair and was proud of what he finally got attention. In the swing of the battle, the years finally opened the truth. He did not receive any class, though he made incredible efforts. The classification system rejected it, leaving the mark and bitterness, and it is in this fight that he confesses to his envy. But at the same time, he firmly states, the class is not all. Even without it, it stands equal, proving that the willpower can break any restrictions. The Summer attacks the technique of the celestial blade, cutting air with filigree accuracy. Warning, the result will not change. The Kite smiles with the call. Despite his disadvantage, he is not going to retreat. Suddenly, he changes the direction of attack and aims at the judge, shocking everyone. The audience is dying. Smiles boldly, forcing him to make a difficult decision just during the battle. The Kite recalls the character of Summer, as he always helps others and easily forgives. And the bet, years will not be able to ignore the danger to the referee. He believes that this blow cannot be stopped. But the years suddenly use the technique of a lightning jerk. Disappears from the sight of the Kite. The Kite looks confused, and waves of energy explode around, all stunned by an unexpected Summer attack. The Summer has time to wrap the sword with the energy of the celestial blade, and the accurate blow neutralizes the attack of the Kite. He only understands how close he was to defeat. Some of the audience shouts at Kite, if he does not want to die, use heavenly strengthening. The Kite activates strength and flies in the Summer with all fury. Sumi is immobile, so powerful that the earth is destroying from power. A A shot like the explosion again throws a kite from the arena again. The judge officially announces the knockout and starts the reverse, 10-9. While the timer runs away, observers analyze the technique of Summer. They conclude that he directed the magical power directly into the sword without scattering it, as they usually do. This is what allowed him to break through the sacred protection of the kite, which was shocked by even experienced viewers. Although he is not a magician magic, he accurately manages the magic for years, copying the spell which strikes everyone while the counting goes to the end. One of the instructors comments that there is a unique potential. Without a class, it is able to adapt and develop skills not limited by any type. The Summer is silently watching as the timer is coming to an end. The kite is still out of the arena and does not have time to return. The defeat is recorded. The kite is thrown out of the arena and it no longer appears. The timer stops, the winner is announced in the Summer. The audience is stunned, some even suggest that the kite just escaped. After winning the Summer, a mysterious man is presented as Julius Argyll. He welcomes him and says that he watched the fight with delight. The surprised Summer hears, as Julius suspiciously states. Despite the absence of the class, he used the technique of the Holy Knight, hinting that he is hiding something. The crowd buzzes from discussions. In the meantime, Julius invites Summer to a private conversation. The kite, exhausted and wounded, refuses to admit defeat. Even with the high class of the Holy Knight, he cannot relieve that he lost a classless one. Anger decides he needs more power. He forgives defeat. Ignoring the official completion of the duel, the kite will swear. A sinister look and powerful energy around. The next time it will not be restrained against the Summer. When they leave the arena, Julius asks a year what he wanted to talk about. But suddenly the explosion of energy flashes ahead. The years react immediately. He instantly throws a fiery ball, showing a lightning reaction. Julius confirms his suspicions with a smile. He has the abilities that he should not have. He asks how, without class, can you use so many techniques from different classes? And interestedly looking, reveals the true cause of the conversation. He wants to fight with a strong rival. Smiling with delight, he confesses that he looks forward to a duel with the Summer and disappears in a fire flash, leaving it in surprise. Claire from the Central Order of White Magras begins a battle, causing a powerful blow to the Wind Blade. But despite the attack, the Fang remains stationary, no reaction, no scratch. The destructive magic Claire is ignored completely. The Fang does not even shift. Spectators are shocked. No one believes that her magic did not work at all. Fang appears behind Claire until she has even seen and notes that she is too inattentive when she attacks. He then corresponds to a counterattack, an explosion of air that completely knocks it from the panthel. An unknown man reveals the secret of his cloak. Viewers recognize in it what Claire resists. She suspects that the cloak absorbs attacks, and others in the crowd comment on what's spectacular. But the man explains his ability not just to absorb harm. When Claire tries to understand the essence, he states, the correct answer is another, and it is prepared to show true strength. The man activates the dark shadow technique. The dark sphere with flying eyes covers Claire. She barely has time to react. After activation of technology, it remains in the center of the arena. The crowd watches with anxiety without realizing what really happened. Claire is announced from the arena, and the judge launches a reverse count. The audience is in surprise to discuss the dark magic they just saw. When the countdown is completed, Fang is officially declared by the winner from the Eastern Order of the Black Magics. Claire reappears, the unconscious falls to the ground. Everyone is surprised. The judge checks her condition and confirms she is simply fainted. Meanwhile, Fang is quietly watching. He removes the ring and states that in a true battle he would not leave enemies alive. It despises the use of objects such as the blessing ring, clearly hinting it beats to death. The crowd responds frightened. Its coldness is frightening. Meanwhile, the final battle of the tournament is being announced. The first participant is Go, the Western Order martial arts master. The audience is crazy in support, but the name of the opponent from the Eastern Order is still kept secret. Finally, they announce that Julius Argyll Sage will become an opponent. But he still has not appeared, causing excitement among the audience. The presenter tries to confirm his presence until he laughs. They say Julius is scared. But Julius eventually appears. He lays in the center of the arena among magical fragments. Go is watching, and Julius calmly says, "Sorry, forced to wait." He confidently goes to the arena, shocking everyone with his explosive entrance. One knight is outraged by how much magic is needed for such barrier magic. The battle between Julius and Go begins. The knight from the Western Order is convinced that Go, their best fighter, will win. But in a few moments, Julius easily wins. The battle is completed with an absolute advantage. After the battle, he was asked where he was. Smiling and playing a magical cube, Julius replies, he just had fun. Julius watches from afar, like years himself among the rocks, is exhausted. With a mysterious smile, he thinks, I seem to have found a rare toy. His gaze becomes personal. Julius utters the full name of Summer and notes that there will be a very interesting clash ahead. The presenter solemnly completes the tournament, calling these battles inspiration for all viewers. The audience explodes applause. It is announced that the semi-finalists of the Empire Lorens have already been determined. The scoreboards appear on the scoreboard. Years, Julius, Fang, and another participant whose person has not yet been disclosed. Viewers are delighted with such a composition. It is announced that the next battle will take place in a week. The tension increases when it becomes known the king himself will be present. All semi-finalists respond seriously, understand the importance of future matches. But suddenly in the center of the arena appears an ancient dragon. The arena explodes panic. The narrator confirms that a legendary creature appeared in the tournament. While everyone is in a panic, the young warrior is trying to reassure the crowd. She recognizes the dragon and exclaims, "Father," complaining that his appearance was too dramatic. In the eyes of all, the dragon turns into a person and laughs. With a slight smile, he apologizes for too spectacular appearance. With a slight smile, the king acknowledges that he may have exaggerated a little with efficiency. The dragon appears on the back of the dragon Richard III, the monarch of the Empire Lorens. The crowd is delighted, and the narrator solemnly announces the presence of the king himself. The audience recognizes the creature is an ancient fiery dragon, a rare species from the continent of shadows, known for its cruelty and incredible force. Its existence is shrouded in secrets. One of the men watches the king and thinks that it is possible to curb such a dragon only with extraordinary force. Maybe someone else wants to master this power. The king asks for a leading microphone. He was discouraged, but proudly conveys it. With a soft smile, Richard thanks everyone present and has an important question to the public. He asks everyone, what is real power? He states that all participants of the tournament are skilled warriors, but their strength is not only in the classroom. The real power is not in status, but in some ways much deeper. As an example, the scientist class, even having talent, it takes years of study and practice. Similarly, in battles, strength is not heredity, but the result of effort and perseverance. While the king continues the speech, he sits lonely among the stones, exhausted, but listens closely. The king says that even disappointment has its value, it stimulates growth. Richard continues before the crowd. Yes, frustration is painful, but it is it that allows a person to know his maturity. Understanding your own weaknesses is the first step towards development. He urges not to be afraid of defeat because they are constructing true power. The king completes inspired, challenge yourself. Next to the dragon, he radiates power and confidence, emphasizing true force in overcoming his own boundaries. Constant trials and falls form a true power and inspire to strive more. His words touch everyone. Finally, Richard says, everyone has strength. All you have to do is use it or not. His speech captures the public. The crowd explodes applause, moved and inspired. After the speech, everyone commented on how strong and insightful the words of the king were. His daughter admits, nevertheless, he really behaves as a real ruler. Soon the king turns to the dragon. He asks if it is time to return. He announces that the order of the tournament will receive the right to visit the village of Draken, the place where this legendary creature lives. After that, he says goodbye to everyone, flying to the dragon into the sky and promising to return to the semi-finals next week. His departure and the mention of the village of dragons are stunning the audience. The participants are intrigued, and someone even thinks of this place seriously. Nina is overwhelmed by the expectations of future battles, and next to the man, he looks at her suspiciously, believing that the king thought something. The girl asks why her father is here. Meanwhile, preparation for semi-finals is ongoing. All participants train continuously, someone with a sword, someone with magic. Everyone has their own goal and ambition. Everyone is looking for a way to become stronger. The corridors of the arena are filled with sounds of training in intense silence. During the training, one of the boys notices the appearance of the one who has long been waiting. The atmosphere changes instantly. Years appear. A serious look attracts all the attention. While the city remains calm, two men go down the corridors of the building. James R. Gale, an officer of the Eastern Order of Knights, looks focused and determined. The other goes nearby, playing a cube. Despite his dissatisfaction, he is forced to enter the hall with James, who seems to be used to his behavior. All officers gather at the table. The tension is felt from the first minutes. Between James and Rayad, verbal altercation begins. One calmly seizes tea, the other openly expresses his dissatisfaction. The owner of the meeting ignores the tension and tries to start discussing. During the meeting, James states that the Eastern Order plan reaches a decisive stage. He announces the next step in a dark and decisive look, the removal of King Richard III. James continues to explain everything goes according to plan, each element moves on time. Even the unplanned escape of the Holy Knight did not prevent, the group is ready to act at any moment, the voltage increases. During the discussion, everyone recognizes the main obstacle in the plan is the king himself. His combat force is extremely high. In addition, it is protected by a powerful fire dragon. While the creature is nearby, it cannot be even injured. James reveals the king has made a pact with a dragon after a joint battle. Now the dragon is his oath ally, which gives magical protection that blocks any attack. Therefore, as long as the pact is valid, the king is considered invincible. The group recognizes the king and the dragon are practically insurmountable. Even the army will not have a chance. One of the men asks if there is a decision, but they are interrupted. The ally assures that there is still hope. Camilla has developed a new strategy. Camilla goes to the hall. It is welcome. She confidently invites everyone to sit. Some people recognize Princess Eris's sister, but Camilla quickly makes it clear that she is not interested in formalities. It will become the brain center of a new strategy against the king and the dragon. Although some still consider it only Iris's assistant, Camilla radiates confidence. When asked about the plan, she is coldly confirmed. It is her idea, and she fully controls the situation. While drinking tea with a calm look, Camilla teaches a plan, and the participants begin to consider it. Some people think it can work, although there is doubt, but even they are forced to listen. While Camilla says, the Duke Rad comes with a serious facial expression. She calmly addresses him, but suddenly. He sharply pulls the sword and rushes aggressively forward. All in the hall are stunned. Rad suddenly attacks, knocks down the knight from his feet, lifting chaos. One of the guards is indignant. Camilla in surprise, as the Rud coldly comments on her dress, as if he wanted to prove something. For him, it is an action that must finally remove all doubts. After this incident, someone asks, are there any weaknesses in plan? The answer is straight, they are gone. Camilla smiles confidently, watching the defeat of the knight, everything goes for her. With a cold smile, she reveals the true essence of the plan. Her goals are not a king, but a sister and father. Camilla states that the next meeting at the tournament will be the last. Its strategy has a deeply personal and dangerous nature. Everyone is looking forward to the crucial moment when the main event begins. One of the girls solemnly opens the ceremony. An energetic speech she tells a legend. Once these lands ruled demons until God won them in battle. It is here, on the ground of the beginning, that the history of the world was born, and now a big tournament will be held here. Finally, the long-awaited day is coming. The arena is filled. Excitement is raging in the air. Participants enthusiastically discuss the future fights and lessons they will take out of this event. Despite its previous defeats, the Western Order of Knights has respect for its perseverance. Radner's commander is proud to watch the crowd while the audience reminds the order. The Western Order is actively warming the interest of the public. Meanwhile, the commander of the Central Order, Lena France, with cold calm, controls his subordinates, ordered to focus on battle. After official confirmation of the absence of the kite, the public's attention is switched to the three most promising participants of the tournament. Two princesses solemnly appear in the arena, making an official statement about their participation. First represented Iris Lawrence, behind her, her younger sister Camilla Lawrence. Both come out confidently and proudly. This means the beginning of something grand, and the crowd explodes with applause. Eris is approaching Camilla, remembering her disappearance, but he replies with irony, they say, the honor that she is remembered by the future queen. Iris remembers their father, assuming that he would be glad to see her, but Camilla hints that there will be no such opportunities. King Richard III appears in the arena. He arrived personally from the Kingdom of Lawrence. His gait is convinced that the posture is proud, and Camilla with a cold calculation is observed, considering the following steps. The audience greet the king with stormy ovation, conducting his views full of admiration. Soon the presenter enthusiastically announces the beginning of the next phase, the semifinals. Participants are summoned to the arena. The first semifinals, the holiday of the knight Sarah Scott against the sage Julius Argelo. Both stand seriously, ready for a decisive battle. The second semifinal is a dark magic fang against the Summer of Wellesley, which is still not class. Nevertheless, there is a confident year, full of determination to prove its value. The Summer goes into the arena exhausted, with wounds, which raises doubts about its readiness for the semifinals. At this point, the mysterious figure challenges him. He states that he will still not reach the finale. Sarah looks strongly at Julius and without hesitation states that he will win him. Her provocation causes the opponent by surprise, but she retains a confident look, making it clear ready for victory. Suddenly, the arena envelops a powerful wind, all surprised. The airflow is twisted around Julius, gradually gaining such a force that even the stands. The atmosphere becomes tense, something big is approaching. Julius smiles at the call, demonstrating absolute confidence and neglect. The judge signals before the battle. Sarah instantly rushes to the attack, demonstrating its strength from the first second. She rushes to Julius at maximum speed, and he remains stationary, smiling. Magic flashes in his hands, it contradicts exactly. The battle begins with a voltage explosion. Julius attacks a magical blow and throws Sarah back. He calmly watches, his hands are still burning with energy. Sarah quickly comes to her senses and causes Julius a direct blow. But he understands that she only got into the afternoon, it was an illusion. Julius suddenly appears behind, laughing and recognizing the level of battle is really impressive. Sarah retains a complete concentration. She understands deals with a much more complex rival than expected. Julius triggers a powerful magical attack directly into Sarah. The arena explodes a bright flash. Spectators' shock smoke clubs and energy are rising around. I am sure of victory, Julius calmly watches, but Sarah appears unharmed, cuts the fire with the sword. Julius smiles interestedly. The battle gets a new taste. In response, he prepares a new attack. This time he calls for stone spears. Using the magic of the earth, Julius amazes everyone. The audience begins to suspect that he has several elements, which is extremely rare and dangerous. Sarah tries to respond quickly, and even the king and the whole arena are closely monitored for each movement. Again, it destroys the stone spears with the sword, Julius watching silently, preparing new magic. The battle remains tense, both show exceptional skill, leaving no space for mistakes. Sarah tries to use the sword again, but notice strokes do not work. Disappointed, she understands that all her strength does not touch Julius, and he calmly stands the pressure. In the memoirs of Julius appears in the forge, passing magical stones to the master. Among them are minerals of fire, land, water, wind, thunder, and darkness. He asks to create an artifact that combines all the elements. This is how his multifaceted art was born. Julius explains, he does not need a regular thing, but something fun that will be interesting to use. It gives the blacksmith the detailed drawing of the artifact. The same comments, though Julius is brilliant, he is indifferent to victories and defeats. The main thing is that it was interesting, and Sarah is the perfect rival for this show. Returning to the battle, Julius rotates the magic cube. He activates new spells. Sarah, despite the flows of the elements, confidently goes forward. She cleverly evades the attacks, demonstrating endurance and self-control. Meanwhile, Julius calmly switches between the elements, easily captures the initiative, and Sarah finds a difficult position. Viewers whisper how to defeat the one who possesses all the elements. Even experienced magicians recognize the talent of newcomers. The Summer is watching silently. Julius notices the discovery and approaches Sarah, preparing a direct blow. She tries to react, but too late. The crowd covers panic. The situation for Sarah is critical. Julius easily captures her in a trap and makes fun of what happened. She asks proudly where her determination has. With a provocative smile adds, "It would be boring to finish the battle is so easy." Sarah is silent, trying to maintain dignity. But when everything seems lost, Sarah unexpectedly turns the situation. In her eyes, determination is burning. She says Julius has just lost his chance to win. It makes it possible she is not broken. The king enthusiastically watches the battle and admires the power of the knight's spirit. Sarah closes his eyes, concentrates energy, stands firmly and calmly. A new force begins to flow from her body. It prepares for a breakthrough. Suddenly in the air, dozens of swords appear around it. They are led, controlled by its magic. Spectators are shocked. No one understands how she activated this power. The atmosphere in the arena changes instantly. The battle goes into an unexpected phase. Sarah stands confidently, and swords, ready for attack, circle around her. This is not an illusion. Each of them is a true divine blade. Julius smiles, knowing now he faced the true threat. Sarah activates the technique. The swords begin to rotate around Julius. she prepares an accurate blow, and the opponent first acknowledges that she underestimated her strength. Viewers are delighted. One festive weapon is transformed into 6 swords. Julius smiles, recognizes its development. Captured by battle, he completely plunges into the atmosphere of the duel. Sarah attacks just on one of the swords, full of determination. Julius watches carefully, trying to understand her idea. To protect itself, it instantly lifts a stone wall. The debris is still flying in the air. But Sarah breaks, synchronously all swords. They break through the protection together. There is a flurry of cutting blades. Julius did not expect such a combination. He notices Sarah is approaching, surrounded by swords that rotate at incredible speed, and does not hide his admiration. In response, Julius creates a huge fiery tornado. Sarah recedes. It rotates the swords around her and transforms the technique of the Holy Blade into a simultaneous attack and protection. He says, "One alone does not win." She created this strategy with conviction and is now preparing for a decisive blow. Sarah activates the final technique. The petals are circling around it. Dancing in the air, it moves rapidly to the opponent. Julius is watching hard, but the initiative is already on her side. When the technique is completed, the arena floods bright light. When it is scattered, Julius knows. Everyone looks around in confusion. Even the organizers cannot find it. But it appears unharmed, shocking everyone with incredible speed. Sarah noticed there are only one of the 6 swords. Julius smiles and smiles, turning his artifact, stating that he has many more receptions. Even more passionate about the battle, Julius activates a new spell. With a smile, she says that the second round now begins. In the arena, another swordsman suddenly faces a new threat. The audience is watching closely, trying to understand the next Julius course. He raises his hand with a strange gesture, knocking everyone out of the panther. One viewer suspects is a provocation, and suddenly a giant stone goal appears. The swordsman recedes, struck by his strength and size, but quickly prepares for battle. In the arena comes a creature more than 20 meters high. The crowd is affected by its appearance. The power and magical radiance of the golem make everyone dead. It radiates destructive energy. Someone recognizes the true strength of the sage, others just delighted with a monsmoid creature. The swordline monitors the goal, slowly begins to move the arena. The observer comments, although slow, these gauntlets are extremely strong and are often used by the army in real battles. The swordsman attacks accurately cut stones without losing confidence even before such a threat. Despite the size, she states that it is only a stone doll. She does not compare with the attraction of the holy knights. Sarah breaks forward, a series of accurate strokes by destroying golem without difficulty. Viewers explode in admiration. Her skill as a holy knight is indisputable. It takes the initiative, and the battle becomes even more unpredictable. After winning the golem, Sarah approaches Julius and asks directly, why does he still beat indirectly? She accuses him of restraining, hinting that his true power is not yet manifested. Julius, watching silently, then with a light smile provokes it, calling a doll. She asks if she heard the legend of the Titan Fiery. Without waiting for the answer, the story itself begins. Sarah understands. He avoids a direct answer to her accusation. Julius describes Ascent, a devastating creature that in ancient times destroyed cities and spread suffering, turning everything to ashes. This titanium became the epitome of the end of the world, a true symbol of the apocalypse. He confesses that despite the destructive essence, he always admired this creature. Sarah does not understand what it is. Julius explains with a smile that it was this delight that inspired him to create magic, what does not exist in reality. Because for him, the greatest pleasure is to give the shape of the impossible. He started with the golem but quickly realized, without fire, he did not get closer to the power of the Titan Fiery. Combining the magic of the earth and fire, Julius created something unique, his pinnacle of skill. He confidently announces, Sarah is the perfect rival for this creature, and calls his final weapon Fiery Titan. The creature flashes into the arena, the earth cracks, the flame covers space. A real battle begins. Titan takes the final form Mousespell. The fire burns around his monster body. He immediately attacks with destructive force. The earth splits. Sarah recedes, shocked by his force. Viewers in panic. Everyone understands the scale of danger. Sarah is trying to get closer, but Mousespell releases a fiery vort. The attack is so fast and powerful that it is forced to jump sharply. The explosion covers the arena. Even the audience has to hide. The flames cover the arena with a wave in the public fear. The commentator is shocked. Julius called the legendary Titan fire. This was not the case. Spectators in shock. Even among the sages, rarely anyone has 2 elements at a time. but most impressive, his imagination. Julius proudly looks at his creation. One of the audience admits his power is striking, but Sarah does not seem. It causes the holy sword, and a powerful blow punches the body of Titan. Even before this threat, it does not deviate, rapidly attacks with accuracy. In a direct blow, she punches the breasts of the mouse. In the face relief and determination, Titan begins to scatter. Sarah strikes a devastating blow, sure is a deadly wound, but Titan suddenly behaves strange. Viewers see horror, he regenerates. Julius explains, Muspel changes the shape like magma, so physical attacks are in vain. While Sarah reflects on how to resist him, Titan launches a new attack, rain from stone spears. Sarah is stitched, she falls, wounded and stunned. Muspel does not stop, it comes with a new fury, and the audience is watching, holding their breath. Sarah is hard, barely holding on his feet. Muspel jumps with all weight to gain it. The audience screams her name, seeing the danger. At the last moment, Sarah tries to bounce, but the blow comes too quickly. The fiery titanium hit the target. She screams with pain, crushed by the monster. The crowd fades in a shock, while the fiery creature stands in the center of the arena, unwavering, ruthless. Despite the wound, Sarah does not seem. She dreams of winning and joining the royal guard. One viewer begs her to surrender, fearing for her life. Julius instead looks tight and announces the end of the battle with a cruel smile. Bye, he says coldly. But Sarah, with a firm look, replies, the game is complete. Julius Jun ironically returns his provocation. After the divine revelation, it received a high class. It changes the course of battle. The girl decided to join the Central Order, where many women serve. Due to his determination, she was accepted to the ranks of recruits. During training, it easily wins the opponents, striking all by force. Even as a newcomer, her talent shines. The audience enthusiastically celebrate her will and desire for the top. However, now the knight falls under the rubble after another titanium attack. The scream of pain breaks the arena. The crowd in a panic, some whisperly whispering that the situation is out of control. The enemy is too strong, and when Sarah finds Julius, the situation becomes critical. The Central Order knight suddenly appears. With a decisive look, he orders to release Sarah immediately. If Julius refuses, you will have to face all the power of the Order. Julius strikes the humble, promising to release her, but attentive viewers notice he hides something. He laughs and reveals a true intention. He is not going to stop, calls even more power and provokes everyone around. Other knights rush to save Sarah and understand they may not have time. The battlefield covers chaos. At this point, a young man jumps on the arena with a dagger in his hands. He is determined to act. The audience is dying, some whisper, Father, and with surprise they recognize the Summer Velsley, a personal guard of Sarah. The Summer rushes fearlessly through the flames, aiming directly at the Titan Fiery. The audience is watching, holding their breath, some smiles enthusiastically. Meanwhile, Sarah again falls on the ground bloody, exhausted, barely breathing. He has time in the last moment. He takes the Tsar in his arms, pulls out of the debris. She looks at him with relief and gratitude. He stands firmly, it is determined to protect it. Moving accurately, the Age is aimed at the core of titanium. With one accurate blow, it destroys the creature. The crowd explodes, all stunned. Julius does not believe his eyes. His creation fell, and he holds Sarah in his arms. Seeing her alive, he wants to take her to healers, but Sarah, ashamed, asks to put her on the ground. She thinks she is too heavy, but she insists she is injured. Sarah lowers his head and apologizes for the defeat. Leaders just look at her without condemnation. Sarah is urgently passed to healers. They use ice magic for first aid. The condition is more serious than it seemed. The Summer is silent side by side until she is heard. He addresses him. Little win, and he goes, focused and decisive. On the stretchers, Sarah does not hold her tears. A drop falls on the cheek, opening her silent pain and deep disappointment. Sadly acknowledges that she could not win. It opens its true dream to join the royal knights with the Summer. The crowd of the noble praises the guy for bravery, but the years look aware. His actions had a different motive. Iris trembles from emotions, which is surprised even by her father. Father Iris proudly recognizes. He rarely saw his daughter so moved. Everyone around you felt the power of this battle, even the most ripped. In the crowd, a woman jokingly says that her daughter had brought home a boy as a bridegroom. Laughs, calling the Summer a brawler, but with warmth recognizes its value. The camera leaves, showing the arena after a devastating battle. A scene of devastation. Julius looks in the Summer with contempt. His entertainment was spoiled. The Summer explodes and demands explanation. Why did he attack Sarah so cruelly? The tension between them is increasing. Years are preparing to attack Julius, ready to come together. The organizer of the tournament screams from the podium, "Stop immediately." The audience was frozen. His impulsive act risks breaking the rules. One of the organizers is quickly interfering with the escalation. It is officially announced, Julius was removed from the next battle. If the years attack, both will be disqualified. The atmosphere is tense, but the authorities are trying to keep peace. The high-ranking knight approaches, orders Julius to retreat. The next battle is not him. The knight promises there will still be an opportunity for revenge. Julius goes silently, depressed by the power order and with contempt in his view. In the hallway, someone turns to the summer. Despite the result of the battle, they were destined to come together. Win or lose, they will still meet. This is already resolved. Leaders throws a serious look and take a challenge without hesitation. The crowd explodes with anger, accusing Fang of attack on Sarah. A new semi-final battle is being announced. A dark magic Fang against a classic non-class participant Summer. The arena is still in ruins, but a new fight is about to start. Before the battle, Fang approaches the Summer with warning. Fight with all power, not giving time to the answer. The referee announces the beginning. The tension increases instantly. The start of the Battle of Years faces an unexpected threat. The dark creature attacks. The demonic wolf, created by the dark magic of the Fang, attacks fierce. The audience is soured and the Fang challenges, solve the pattern of attacks. While the years reflect the attacks, another threat appears from the sky. It causes him by surprise. The danger is wider than it seems. It is concentrated by using magical technique, a stone hand. A large hand rises from the ground and grabs a wolf, squeezing it with incredible force. An unexpected blow changes the course of the battle. He uses a chance, jumps on a demonic wolf and strikes it with all his strength. The audience is shocked. The wolf tries to resist, but the blow was too strong. The forces leave it. Fang watches closely and then enters a verbal duel. He points out that he used the stone hand for years, is the technique of the Earth's element. It opens the truth that everyone was not waiting for. The attention is drawn to the disclosure. So far the Summer was considered non-class, but during the battle, Fang changes focus and produces shocking information. The royal security guard disappeared during the mission. There were 3, Zack, Larg Mag, and a classless years, everyone around the stunned discovery. Fang tells that he surveyed Zaka's disappearance and found traces of battle, fragments of stones, and traces of fiery magic. On the basis of the findings, he concludes, he closed before disappearing. Seeing the same techniques in the Summer, Fang directly accuses him of borrowing Zaka style. Chang demonstrates the records of previous Summer battles, emphasizing its use of the divine sword and stone magic. All rivals were like Zaka. It also opens, the Summer was present at the place of disappearance of the guard, although formerly a classless one. Fang completes the hypothesis. There may be a connection with the disappearance of Zack. The look in the look, Fang throws direct accusation. Is it not involved in the disappearance of the guards? He asks in the Summer whether he is able to steal or copy other people's techniques. He is silent, noticeably surprised and confused. Neither confirmation nor objection, and in the arena there is an increasing tension. The commentator is amazed aloud. Can he really absorb other abilities? The noble inspectors are amazed. Even Julius looks silently with suspicion. No one has ever seen like this. Rumors about Summer are spreading, causing severe resonance. Many refuse to believe that a clutch can have such a force. His father is watching silently and secretly begins to assume he may have inherited a special ability. It whispers to itself, if this is true, years have unique abilities that no one understands. One of the ambitious aristocrats proposes to make him the heir to the Duke's family. The proposal is stunning everyone. And he looks from afar, not knowing where his fate will lead. The preparation is ongoing, but he is already aware. The opponent knows about his probable ability. Fang presses the question, how does he get someone else's forces? The voltage increases. The Summer is jumped, does not find the answer. Fang attacks without warning, lightly approaches and turns a flurry of blows. Demonstrates the seriousness of intentions. He tries to defend herself, but barely has time at the pace of the opponent. Quickly falling, goes into a counterattack. His blows are accurate and fast, he will not seem. The battle is leveled. Both show the skill of the melee, but the Fang again takes the initiative and presses with planned blows. Viewers say that even with the possibility of copying, it will not be easy to win a Fang. He is also an experienced strategist. The Summer begins to lose strength. To change the course of the battle, it causes demonic wolves. Fang tries to repel the attack, but falls into the coordination of animals. Even the strategic becomes difficult. Nevertheless, Fang refracts the situation. he will recover the summer and presses him to the ground with all power. Even wounded, he tries to resist years, but at this stage of battle, he is clearly inferior in technique and endurance. Even lying on the ground, he reacts instantly, causes a fiery spear that punches the armor of the fang of a direct blow. The unexpected counter struggle stuns the enemy and proves the forces for battle in the summer are still remained. Taking advantage of the discovery, Years beats the opponent in the face. The mask cracks from the blow, and the audience is stunned. The magic of fire, demonic wolves, all this is now part of its arsenal. After a successful attack, he faces a fang. He admits the counterattack turned out to be impressive. The forces of summer are forcing him to respect him. Fang recognizes the skill of mastering the magic of different attributes. According to him, if the divine sword used Years, the match would have long been completed. Fang thanks for the spectacular struggle. It was a real performance. At the same time, he suspects there is something still hiding there, and he has stronger cards. Suddenly, a new mysterious technique is being activated: dark energy and levicative eyes. Even Years Old is surprised by the scale of his own strength. The judge completes the battle. After activating the new ability, he starts the final count. While the countdown is ongoing, the audience notices the absence of Summer in the arena. The judge announces that he has been trapped in his own spell, from which it is impossible to get out. Without gravity, in full darkness, Years instantly understands how dangerous the situation is. Full of determination, he grabs a divine sword and tries to break the space around. But even the sword is powerless. The space absorbs all attempts to break free. The enemy reveals the essence. This zone sucks vital force, leaving no chance of escape. Time comes out and someone warns Summer resistance is useless. Outwardly, they are discussing his hopelessness. One of the knights still believes that there is a way to escape from this magical prison. Lion confirms Julius is her subordinate. She will engage in his re-education. Sarah also received help outside the threat. The attendees are worried, and Lion explains there are two ways to avoid a dark trap. The first is the magic of light opposite to darkness, which can break through the boundaries. But once Years he has not got out, he does not have this type of magic. The audience follows the reference. When Lion is preparing to reveal the second way, everyone is breathing. It voices the second output is spatial magic, which are able to cut the fabric of space itself. Yes, it is effective, but everyone agrees that spatial magic is united, and it is unlikely that one of them. The countdown is coming to an end. Everyone is convinced the Years were defeated. Commentators suggest that even if he had spatial magic, it would not have enough strength to activate. Fang mocks, calling the Summer in vain and pointing to the boundary of the opportunity of a non-class creature. But Iris does not seem, her look is firm. It does not accept such a finale. At the last moment, a dark wolf emerges behind the fan's back and rushes to it with frantic force. All stunned, he broke out of the darkness, using the magic of a dark attribute, and immediately struck a counterattack. The demonic wolf attacks the fang. The appearance of Summer shocks the audience. Despite the wound, the enemy tries to resist, but the shadow beast completely breaks his protection. Fang understands that he copied his own equipment for years during his previous fight. While Fang is trying to comprehend the situation, there is a hard-to-be confident age. The decisive blow of Years wins. The battle is over. Fang falls unconscious before the surprised public, which cannot believe in the victory of the classless. A Year appears on the battlefield with a demonic wolf. Everyone see. He defeated his enemy with his weapon. The crowd reacts with the explosion of emotions. The commentator confirms that the age of triumphantly returned. One of the girls is passionate about the Summer, calling him cool, but Iris immediately makes it clear she will not give it to anyone. Camilla jokingly asks to share the guard because there are too many in Iris. Iris smiles mysteriously and is not inferior. One of the men ironically notes the close relationship between the sisters. Camilla confidently watches. I am convinced that in the Summer in her hands, her plan will come true. Meanwhile, the Years are exhausted. Sarah receives urgent help, all of his endurance after victory over the Fang. Even the wounded, Sarah tries to stay, though he complains of pain. Doctors ask for silence. Its condition is serious. He also remembers the risks by copying the opponent's technique without guaranteeing success. Even Fang recognizes mentally, he was just not lucky. He had an advantage for years. The judge officially announces the completion of the battle. The Fang is disabled. Announcement: lit winner. All the attention now belongs to him. Some of the crowd is crazy with grip. Others are watching silently, not believing in what they see. The Summer is announced by the finalist of the tournament. Despite fatigue, he accepts the recognition of viewers and judges. While his rival Fang is taken out on stretchers, he receives ovations. One of the audience disrespectfully states that Fang's speech looked. Fang tries to justify himself. They say, he is not an actor, but James is catching up. He would have come up with a theater. Leaders celebrate a victory overflowing with euphoria, and James coldly, watching from afar, makes a gloomy remark. In his opinion, this is the last time, when he can rejoice in victory, so much something is much darker. Although the years and sighs lightly, the alarming anticipation does not leave him. He is reminded that the next battle will be against Julius in the finale. But most of all, he is worried about Julius's phrase, "We will beat, win, or lose." It does not rest, causing anxiety. The Duke of Light Wellesley, a former Eastern Knight commander, appears unexpectedly. Its unexpected appearance causes a wave of suspicion. It seems to come something great. Everyone was surprised. There were rumors that the Duke had broken up in the summer. The audience is watching closely at each step. His gesture captures the attention of all the crowd, raising even more questions. The Duke Lade is stunning everyone, publicly declaring that his son, the summer itself, has fallen out of surprise, and the Duke smiles with pride. This revelation causes a real stir and a wave of questions about Light's intentions. While the audience is shocked, attention is paid to his past as the leader of the Eastern Knights. It was their order that was responsible for the protection of the Kingdom of Lawrence from monsters from the Black Zone. His return is suspicious, because earlier he seemed to break all the connections with the summer. The tension is increasing. No one understands the true purpose of this appearance. During the battle with a catastrophic monster, Dark Poison, warriors and magicians were paralyzed. When it seemed that everything was lost, it was the Light Veslecy broke the course of the battle. His legendary feat has become the most striking moment in his career and is still admiring. Even after leaving the knightly order, he remained a symbol of strength and heroism. Light on his own defeated a Dark Poison, a terrible monster that terrorized the border. After that, he continued to destroy one by one more terrible creatures, strengthening the reputation of the invincible hero. In the Eastern region, Light became a real military idol. His glory as a savior lives in the memory of the people. Its appearance on the battlefield has repeatedly changed the course of battles, saving hundreds of lives. Among the grateful are a man with a scar on the forehead, rescued by the Duke. For him, Light is not just a knight, but a real savior. The Duke approaches the summer and puts his hand in silence on his shoulder. The summer lowers the look, moved to the depths of the soul, no words, only a strong parental gesture. For the first time in public, Light praises his son. "You have coped well, Summer." Emotions are mixed astonishment and restrained touch. The impossible became reality. The audience whispers about this gesture of reconciliation, but there are voices that mention rumors of the expulsion of Summer from the family. Hearing this, Light is frowning and then laughs loudly, denying any expulsion. It compares Summer to metal, which must be forged many times to make it strong and hardened. All that was part of the workout. Light is convinced that only pain and difficulties make the warrior real. This applies to every knight. Only the one who overcomes the path alone deserves to become a royal guard. The Duke proudly states that his son, hardened in this way, now has the power to protect Princess Iris. These words shock everyone, even the princess itself. The Duke proclaims his national pride, a great honor for the country, and repeats it again and again, as if emphasizing the scale of recognition. He calls the summer a knight, worthy of protecting the Kingdom of Lawrence. The crowd explodes with applause, and Iris reacts with no less energy. In the eyes of all, the Duke solemnly announces the time of Summer to return to the vessel's family. But someone in the crowd doubts, is it not a game, manipulation for the public? The years are confused, does not understand the intentions of his father. He looks at the Duke with misunderstanding, and he corresponds to a confident, calculated look. The voltage between them in the air. The years confessed, he always admired his father, despite everything. The Duke silently follows him with a light smile. Meanwhile, in the shadow, the knight holds someone's hand firmly. It seems that the backstage of this family scene is preparing something much darker. While the father is leading his party in public, something rages behind the scenes, and it is not just a workout. In the training field, the Duke Light supports a reputable posture, embodying respect and strength to his soldiers. During class, he attacks full strength, demonstrating the skill of the sword and rough power. In a few blows, Light wins everyone, showing why he is respected as a leader and a warrior. Even surrounded on all sides, he effortlessly overthrows opponents with one powerful movement. The audience is watched with admiration. Every movement inspires respect and awe. The years, hiding in the shade of trees, closely monitors every movement of his father, trying to remember everything. He trains alone, reproducing strokes with full dedication. From his childhood, he dreamed of becoming a holy knight like his father. This admiration became the meaning of his life and the path he went until he gained recognition. Years of training after Light's example finally brought the fruit. It became worthy of praise. The Duke extends his hand to his son, inviting confidence and authority. Years, frustrated and surprised, looks silently at his father, feeling the weight of the moment. This is the recognition that he sought all his life. He tries to say something before his father and crowd, but the weight of emotion stops words. Under Light's watchful look, he finally begins to speak. But in his eyes doubts are read. Despite recognition, something remains uncertain about it. He raises his head and surprises everyone. Refuses, with a decisive voice, he declares that he will not return to Vessel's house. The direct refusal made it clear he chooses his way. The crowd is surprised. The Duke is strenuously looking at the sun. But the Summer does not hesitate. He repeats his refusal again. Silence hangs between them. Everyone is watching the father and son stand against each other in silent conflict. The commentator notes the depressing atmosphere. The Duke tilts the head and muttering something mysterious. His words are incomprehensible, but the hint of deeper intentions is obvious. Living, looking at the flowering city, feels something in this world is not true. At the same time, a noble man steals food from a merchant and attacks a woman, shouting that he is from a higher condition. This scene impresses and enhances the inner outrage of the Summer about injustice. While that noble scum justifies himself, he protects the wounded girl for years. A man cynically proclaims that strong ones have the right to take from the weaker ones. It is the law of nature. The Summer denies such logic, asking why society accepts it for the norm. People are confused, some agree with such truth. The views of the guards, filled with indifference, only emphasize the inequality that years wants to change. There is another excuse. They say 2,000 years ago, these lands were full of monsters, and it was the aristocrats that were risked by life to create safety. They say belongs to this power as a reward for past exploits. The noble continues to justify inequality. They say common people, only slaves. The Summer listens in silence, struck by the cruelty of these words. After the words of Light, a wave of indignation rises in the crowd. People reject the idea that they are slaves and do not accept the distorted reality imposed by the strong. Commonwealth is brought up, shouting that they keep the kingdom grow food, sow clothes, build cities. They are a force that supports everything. The Summer breaks its rage, reaches the limit. He shouts that his father is completely mistaken. He states that there should be no higher or lower classes. The value of a person is not determined by his status. This is a moment of complete break with the ideals of Light. Blood, years old, all classes are given by God through the oracle, and even his classless state matters. These words shock everyone, both the Duke and the princess. The Summer reveals his pain and belief in the meaning of his own destiny. He remembers how he was kicked out of the house and he was forced to look for a job, but because of the status of class, it was ignored and humiliated everywhere. He began to frighten other people's eyes. People looked at him as garbage, unnecessary, unworthy attention. In a moment of loneliness and despair, he almost broke. Under the cold rain, the world seemed to him to be hostile. Soaked to the thread, he wanted to escape from the city, felt like a burden for the world. Suddenly, a woman who recognized him from the guild came to him. Her care was caught by surprise. It reaches a hot drink and asks not to give up. Its support was an unexpected light in the dark. Despite the status of the unemployed, she reports that there is an urgent task and invites him to accept the call. She believed in him what he was so lacking, but after that confession, Light begins to laugh disdain. It only seems to him a joke. He calls his son's story a vain chat. It proclaims, if the class is not recognized by God, he is worthless. Emphasizes the power of classes is absolute, and it is a constant law of the world. Little, confused, tries to say something, but restrains. He respects his father and cannot return to him. He is afraid that when Light learns the truth about his power, he will turn him into a slave. Therefore, he chooses another way. Light looks at the Summer and says that he does not condemn him. On the contrary, it is even interesting. At this time, Leonia celebrates the courage of the boy. Leonia's father agrees with her. He claims that she thinks the same years. Camilla, shocked, does not know how to react, and suddenly Light attacks the Summer with full force. The Summer reacts instantly. The battle of the father and son flashes with new force. The fight becomes dangerous. The previous words have not decided. The years barely evades a mighty blow and hardly blocks it. he feels the weight of every movement. Despite the fear, he is ready to fight to the end. At the decisive moment of years, an incredibly rapid blow to disarm Leda, he does not have time to react. The crowd fades all shocked, lifting, breathing, cannot believe in his own victory. Even he did not expect such a result. Light asks when his son studied this technique. He answered years learned, watching his father 2 years ago. The Duke recognizes the efforts of the summer and the result of his training, briefly praises him, but instead he adds that this is not all. Light interrupts the moment, saying that the thinking of summer is still immature. Then it turns and goes, not giving full recognition. With a calm but cold expression, the Duke goes away, hinting that once the son will understand everything, even if he does not agree with him now. He acknowledges Summer still has to grow up and see the world differently. After these words, the guy plunges into silence. He is exhausted and depressed. It falls to the ground just in front of all, stunned by what has happened. It is then that the system opens a new class, the Holy Knight, all around shocked. The years mention the times when he was considered a classmate, and now recognition, even from the father, and words that were previously unattainable. Well done, son. This phrase is painful with the past when it was humiliated and called worthless. He was once despised by everyone, even God himself, and now, everyone recognizes his power. The contrast cuts the heart. The eyes open, it lies in the hands of Iris. She looks at him with relief, trying to understand what happened. The years plunged into a dream of dreaming, to look like a father, but there is a doubt. Did he lose himself, becoming a holy knight? Having realized that it is on the lap of the princess, he rises rapidly, covered with shame. Leaning in front of her, and apologies for his unworthy behavior. But Iris only smiles gently and suddenly admits she would even like to touch him even more. He wants to hide the moment with Iris, but understands from the very beginning another girl followed. She sits side by side, clearly dissatisfied. He is embarrassed that someone is very scary from the beginning. The tension between girls increases. Concealed and sweaty, he tries to move attention and asks how Sarah feels. She replies cheerfully, declaring that she is ready to fight again, but Iris notices burns on her hand. The princess realizes Sarah pretends to be fine with her. In fact, her condition is much worse. Iris tells the findings of doctors. In the summer, strong slaughter, wounds, and inflammation. He urgently needs treatment. She gently hugs him, trying to persuade not to go to the finale, because he has already enough. Iris asks him not to mock himself. If he wants, he can refuse. The summer smiles slightly and thinks. He squeezes her hand firmly, making it clear that she appreciates her care. Iris hugs him from behind, surprised by his act. The summer does not know how to react. He just looks at her silently, confused. She recalls how Iris always treated him with respect, even when he was a classroom. She is a man without prejudice. He sincerely praises her for also calling into question the unjust class system. Their ideas are the same. Their connection becomes stronger. Despite the pain, he decisively declares that he will fight to the end. His determination impresses Iris. She looks at him with pride and admiration. Then he extends a small object. The summer takes it without hesitation. In her gesture, he feels trust and sincerity. Iris apologizes for making him a 7-rank personal guard. She understands it has caused criticism, but the summer reassures her, though it was unexpected. Little is happy to fulfill the duty of the knight. Sarah encourages him, asks to dress a new form and show confidence to the final battle. But its tone is suddenly changing, now anxiety and seriousness in the voice. She warns that the opponent is extremely strong and the years should be extremely cautious. Sarah compresses his hand, feeling excitement. The finale is already on the doorstep. She is vigorously calling him forward, and the years, affected by her enthusiasm, silently watches. Her sincere smile gives strength. Meanwhile, it is announced that the arena is completely restored. The audience is in tension the final match. The announcement of the beginning of a decisive duel sounds. The first finalist is called Julius Argelo, the sage from the Eastern Knights, known for innumerable victories thanks to devastating magic. The audience is surprised. Julius has not yet appeared in the arena, though his name has already been named. Suddenly he is found, among the stands. He is relaxed as if everything is under control. A carefree smile raises suspicion, is self-confidence. The presenter jokes not to destroy the arena. The battle is already at the start. The voltage increases. They announce the second finalist, the one who impressed everyone with incredible and rare ability. The arena includes years confident, focused, ready for a decisive battle. Sarah watches, affected by his new energy. The crowd notices a new summer equipment, a sign of serious training. Everyone is waiting for a collision with great interest. Smiling and decisive, steps to the opponent. Julius enthusiastically comments that something interesting is finally beginning. The presenter announces the start of the final duel. Julius immediately uses magic, causes the breath of the dragon. The flame in the form of a monster covers the arena. The heat rises, there is a year in the center of the fiery circle. The commentator does not understand what everything is, and Julius focuses on the spell. Iris is watching calmly. She knows he received this technique during a night test. The voltage increases. The year corresponds to the counterattack, releases the breath of the dragon to full force. The arena shudders, energy forms a real vortex. The commentator notes that such a technique consumes too many mana. Years clearly bet on everything or nothing. The blow lifts the clouds of debris, the earth trembles. The magic is fully activated, the pressure is unbearable. Several heads of fire dragon fly towards Julius. The attack is crazy, but he remains calm. With a smile on his face, he accepts the challenge without even shuding. One touch and all the magic disappears. It destroys dragons in one movement, leaving everyone stunned. From the flames, years appear. The sword in his hand burns with sacred energy. It was a trap, the flames were distracted. Julius is amazed, but quickly understands the strategy. He smiles, the real battle is just beginning. With the cry of years, he hit the sword directly into the abdomen of the enemy, struck all the strength. But Julius does not change in the face, a smile remains. The blow seemed to be harmful. Despite this, the force of the attack was frantic. It destroys part of the arena, leaving behind the torn land. The crowd explodes from shock. The commentator is amazed. The blow was straight. A moment and everyone believes that Julius is overthrown. But it calmly appears whole, covered with a magical protective sphere. The summer is stunned. His attacks do not make any impression. It turns out that Julius protects the icy barrier magic that condenses ice. This shield neutralizes any blow. The summer instantly recedes, accepts the battlefield, and begins to monitor every movement of the opponent. It breaks out of place, sliding the earth, and tries to bypass Julius out of the flank. It directs a series of accurate blows into unprotected zones. But all the blows are reflected in the barrier. The ice cracks but does not break. Julius is not moving, confident in his victory. He realizes that his power is powerless against this magic. Observers explain, Julius created a unique crystal barrier technique, a work of his own genius. He is so perfect that even veterans could not break him. The summer begins to doubt its chances. He causes a stone fist and attacks a powerful charge on all sides. The blow is crazy, but Julius did not move. The barrier saves again. But he has already prepared a maneuver, appears from the sword from above, heals in a weak place. He jumps off the debris, shouting that it is the end, launches a fiery spear, a mighty blow to the barrier center. The arena shudders. All previous attacks were a trap. He was waiting for the moment when the defense would be weakened. The spear explodes inside the protective sphere without leaving the exit to the flame. The explosion impresses Julius. He falls. The judge begins the countdown. But Julius suddenly laughs and lets down, asking him whether he really thought he had won. He praises the summer for the level of combat, admits he did not expect such force, but he adds, the game has just started. He hints that he hides true force. Living in tension, cold sweat flows, he tries to invent a new strategy. Even before the finals, in the semifinals, the blonde warriors were suspicious of whether the Years really wanted to defeat Julius. The audience perceived it as a joke, but Years without hesitation he replied, he already had a plan. The blonde recedes and it is evident, the words of Summer forced him to think. He explains, though he is able to copy the techniques when struck, he has little experience. Julius also has a double skill, activates two techniques at the same time. According to him, it is impossible to fight on him, but the Summer is firmly accepting the call. URZ captain offers a duel of skills. If the Summer wins, URZ will open its trump card. In response, there will be training with the Royal Guard. The warriors are not condescending. They will not give him time to roll, but the Summer is challenging. He firmly decided to prepare for a decisive clash with Julius. In the arena, he tries an explosive cyclone, but Julius does not shudder. He laughs, that's all that is capable of Years, and suddenly he understands he made mistakes opened. The voltage reaches the peak. Magic is growing, but Years, even after a stroke, does not seem, smiles and exclaims, this is not the end. Realizing that Julius has not yet shown full power, he launches a stone spear for Years, hoping to break the course of the battle. Julius gracefully blocks the attack. The Summer is shocked. Julius is a calm, with a smile, as if he controls every second of battle. Litters are dropped to the knees, depressed. The URZ captain fits and holds it. he explains. Julius perceives battle as a game, but in this game he uses all the power of magic. To win, you need to wait for the moment when it loses vigilance. The summer is trying to attack directly, but the icy barrier of Julius again stops every blow. It is irritated, understanding. It is impossible to break through the defense. The despair is growing, and Julius observes quietly without showing any effort. The summer provokes him, trying to call a real battle. He questioned Julius and hints at the fear of showing his true abilities. These words attract the attention of all viewers. The summer is following the reaction of Julius, waiting for the answer. And finally, the provocation worked. Julius, in excitement, accepts the call without suspecting the trap. He feels that he has behaved and is preparing for a decisive maneuver, confidently waiting for the moment. Julius activates a combination of fiery and earthly magic muspel. Smiling, he warns, now he will fight seriously. The arena explodes from exclamations. It rushes forward with a fist, covered with flames and stone, and causes a devastating blow. A rigid wave explodes in the center of the arena. The difference in force becomes apparent even for the most delicious fans. The years barely avoid a deadly blow, although the wounded, with a decisive look, flies into the air, preparing for the counterattack. It aims at the only point when Julius lowered the protection, but he easily intercepts the attack. Julius smiles confidently. He predicted everything, even an attempt to take advantage. Little is shocked, its plan is destroyed. The powerful explosion of energy hits the summer, forcing the audience to retreat. Even a panic guard is too powerful. Julius stands unwavering among the wreckage, bored against his own victory. The commentator is shocked, but suddenly, from the ruins he sprouts and rushes forward. Julius was surprised, he didn't expect it. The summer blocks the combination of his fire and the earth, running the opponent in a dead end, to retreat anywhere. Julius tries to repel a direct blow, but years in the melee strikes him with a powerful magical volley, interrupting the attack.